are that bloody good, Phil Hurton. Oh, Harry Prosser gets dropped! The excitement is building, the crowd is here.
Oh, why not, mate?
G'day footy fans and welcome to Park 9 for round 10 of the Adelaide Footy League Division 1 season. Some games defy ladder positions. Some games rely little on recent results. For in some games, it's the rivalry that transcends all. And in this league, there's no rivalry bigger or longer than when the red and the blue face off on the footy field. Unrivaled are filming footy sponsors. Archie's Footwear, New Balance, Belgravia Apparel, Neomorph Mouthguards, Hahn, Sportal, Wakefield Sports Exercise Clinic, Farmers Leap Winery, Police Credit Union, Dartfish Footy Stats, and the Moseley Bar and Kitchen. Coming up, it's Prince Alfred Old Collegians hosting St. Peter's Old Collegians. It's Intercol for adults. Thanks to filming footy, this is the Adelaide Footy League. Welcome back. Here we are at Park 9, the home of Prince Alfred Old Collegians for a big day. Red versus blue, Prince Alfred, St. Peter's. You're with Phil Hurton, Adam Jeffries, and Lachlan Gould is back for the boundary. Lachlan, today it's Intercol Day for adults. You get to roam the boundary with some of Adelaide's elite. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm super excited for this one. I mean, as you mentioned, right off the top, college versus college, massive rivalry about to take place, Phil. Super excited.
As much as maybe recent form doesn't count for these rivalry games, Adam, Prince Alfred Old Collegians, they are the reigning premiers, but pretty much a different team now, and they're coming off their worst loss to Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Phil, we've played everyone once now, so the ladder doesn't lie, don't it? Prince Alfred have done well to get 4 wins, but they got the worst points against in the competition, so they're very much in a relegation battle. They'll know that. And the ladder can certainly flip if they lose today to St. Peter's, who for mine are one of the informed teams in the competition, amazingly sitting in 9th position.
Speaking of relegation, St. Peter's Old Collegians are in it. They virtually gave the rest of the division a 5-game head start, but their form right now is pretty decent.
Yeah, again, and I look at their team sheet as well. I think they're going to be hard to beat, and they can still push for a finals berth, to be honest. So, yeah, I'll ask for a tip. I think St. Peter's can win today. Prince Alfred have had the wood in them for many years, but St. Peter's, for mine, can get the job done today.
And Lockie, we've had some wintry conditions through the week. How do you size up the weather for today?
Well, we've got a little bit of an overcast condition, as you can probably see from the shots behind us, but I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day for footy. There's no water on the field whatsoever, and the sun, it might come out at stages, I think.
Alrighty, we're all set. Intercol for adults coming up after the break.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
And welcome back. We're in the Filming Footy Media Centre broadcast band, ready to give you a big game. The red and the blue, the elite, or the old scholars of the elite of Adelaide's educational institutions. Prince Alfred Old Collegian, St Peter's Old Collegians. Yes, some go on to be premiers, some go on to win Nobel Prizes, some go on to play footy here at Park 9. Phil Herden, Adam Jeffries. Adam, have we hyped it up enough?
Yeah, I think so. Kathmandu sold out of jackets during the week. RM Williams had to restock. It's cold.
There's a shortage of tweed.
There's a shortage, yeah. So, great schools though. Hoping to
Silver spoons are in short supply.
Hoping to maybe send my kids to Prince Alfred potentially in a few years.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes, we laugh, but what
we need a scholarship though. We need a scholarship for the kids.
Alrighty, so look, big game. We talk about the ladder being irrelevant when these two play, but let's start off with the ladder.
The ladder's certainly not irrelevant this season, Phil, is it? It's amazing when you look at 3rd through even 10th, and I'm not discarding Brighton yet as well. I still think they're an improved footy team. Prince Alfred sits 7th, but for mine, they're in a bit of danger when I look at their percentage.
Yeah.
Although they have been stiffened up at the back today, but if you look at the percentage of Golden Grove of St Peter's, they've been a lot of narrow losses in there too. They could easily have won a couple more of them. Same for all the teams up above, look at the Teacher Gully loss last week, that would have really thrown a spanner in the works. So yeah, it's super tight. So every game means something except for when Glenunga play.
Yeah, well, look, it's really Glenunga, then Sacred Heart, then throw a blanket over the rest.
I can't see Sacred Heart losing second either from this spot.
It is possible that if St Peter's beat Prince Alfred today and Golden Grove get up, that Princes will be in the relegation zone tonight. When you see the 10th team with a percentage of almost 45, we've got a really good competition. Going to make the last 9 weeks very exciting indeed. Let's have a look at what Prince Alfred have done this season, and yeah, they've done it in spurts.
Yeah, they won their first 2, won the corresponding match against St Peter's at Caterer round 1, which was a good game of footy. Beat Brighton, but then they strung together 4 successive losses, and they really struggled in that time. For mine, the wins against Golden Grove and Payneham were huge. They came out of nowhere for me. I really thought they were going to start to struggle and come back, but 4 wins at the halfway point. If they can get to 8, they'll stay up. So that's a big one for them. Disappointing loss last week. They really struggled against Sacred Heart, who they sit second for a reason as well, don't they?
Yeah, 4 goals. They kicked their lowest score of the season.
Lowest score for a long time,
68-point loss. They haven't incurred a 10-goal belting for quite a few years. But when we look at Prince Alfred and we look at their squad, we see why, because it resembles nothing of the 2023 Premiership team.
Yeah, I think, did you say before, they've only got 9 players left from the grand final last year, which is a turnover. Normally you can lose 5, 6, 7 from year to year in local football. That's not unusual, but to have 13 players not playing, I think there's a few out even today that are playing this year. For mine, the big in is Tom Sumner. He didn't play when we were at Teacher Gully a few weeks ago, Phil, and they really struggled down back without Sumner to lock down an opposition forward. So he's a huge in for them. I'm a big Jordan Neal fan. He's a great ruckman. The playing coach Craig Pitts really taken on a senior role, and it's always good to see Brazel and Davis on the team sheet, the 2 leading goal kickers in the competition last year. Not kicking as many this year for obvious reasons, availability with the SANFL, and the team obviously not functioning like it did last year, but they're a handful for the opposition. So Prince Alfred will give himself a shot today for sure.
And on the siren, Prince Alfred have dobbed one. They've stormed away to a pretty handy win. I'll get the score from Lockie Gould in a sec. Should say in the C grade. Brace yourselves, folks. Richie Banner would have had a field day with this. Prince Alfred College, 34-18, That's 222. St. Peter's 0.
Pretty ugly scoreline, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know what? That's not fun for anyone. That's not even fun for the players for Prince Alfred playing. Oh, maybe some of them enjoyed it, but...
And we might go Bandrew's side. Lockie Gould, look, you've got the scoreboard there. What happened in the Bees?
Yeah, look, it doesn't get any better, really. Prince Alfred's 18-12, 120 to St. Peter's 4-6-30, so a pretty comprehensive 90-point victory there.
Well, at that ratio, this one should be pretty close. Thanks for that, Lockie. He's just going to head out and check the coin toss coming out. So that's Prince Alfred's lineup. Let's switch it over to St. Peter's. And as I said in the intro, they gave the league a 5-game head start, but 3 scalps in the last 4 games.
Yeah, and they played pretty well against Glenunga too, Phil. And we were at a couple of games early in the season where I thought they played quite well in losses against Golden Grove and Payneham and almost potentially could have won those games. So, like I said, I wasn't being silly in the pre-match intro, Phil. I think they're one of the informed teams in the competition and they're 9th, so that shows how good the competition is. They've certainly been stiffened up defensively. They made the big call to move Johnny Reid, who was the league's leading goal kicker in the first month of the season, down back. And for mine, I looked at that and went, ooh, I'm not sure whether I'd do that. But they have been better since they did it, so credit to the coaching staff on that one. There's a couple of names on the sheet. John Vroldos is always a very good player. We mentioned Johnny Reid, who's now moved back. Henry Stewart Rattray, unfortunately, who's been a really good ruckman. Apparently he's got a stress fracture in his foot. Spoke to his partner before the match and informed me that he'll be out for a little while. But they've got some really good players, haven't they, Phil? We've seen Michaels kick some goals. Jordan Lockwood, one of the favourites. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing Ty Bedford play today as well. Hopefully he's on the sheet because he's a really good player as well. So I tip St. Peter's in the pre-match. But having said that, you look at Prince Alfred's results, those win against Payneham, Golden, they've come here. They play really well at Park 9, Prince Alfred. So let's see what happens.
Recent results there, the last 3 all Prince Alfred's Ray by 17, 80 and 26 points. Princes have actually won the last 4. You have to go back to April 30, 2022. The last time they actually played at Prince Alfred College. On that occasion, St. Peter's got up by 34 points. It's interesting, Prince Alfred might say that they are the #1 collegiate team in the Adelaide Footy League because they have 3 premierships. St. Peter's say, no, we're the #1 team in the Adelaide Footy League collegiately because we've been in Division 1 the longest at 34 seasons.
They have been a Division 1 stalwart, haven't they, St. Peter's? They had a quick foray down about 6 or 7 years ago, won Division 2 very quickly and came back up. And miraculously stayed in Division 1 at the end of last season as well, didn't they, Phil? So
it was miraculous in patches, certainly the way that, the last 2 seasons have had some surprises in the final round. Having a look at the other games, we've got a little bit of time. We have 1 captain. We're just waiting for the second one to turn up.
already gamesmanship starting from the St. Peter's end, not sending the captain in, making the captain for Prince Alfred. That's gamesmanship.
Angry.
That's a bit of classic gamesmanship.
What the heck happened there? Lachlan, if you can hear us, a coin toss without a captain, that's different.
The coin toss I don't think's taken place quite yet, so we're just waiting. I think it was a cricket conversation, to be honest.
Oh, right, checking out the state of the pitch. Yeah, we might have a bat. Okay.
Maybe Craig Pitt was just making sure the umpire is aware that the tag is coming for me and just watch the holding. Very smart play by Craig Pitt. He's a smart individual.
I was about to say, because normally they send an umpire out to collect the captain for the coin toss. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Because we were talking the other games. I might go through those briefly. Port District Broadview.
Ooh.
Now, it's at Largs. That favours the Tigers.
Yeah, I was impressed with Broadview last week, Phil. I thought they found a little something. They haven't been able to grind out wins for mine this year, but they did last week. I'll give Broadview a chance out there. Port Districts are in the mix, in the pack. Haven't proven to anybody that they're above where they are at the moment, so they need to find some mojo and find some scoring on their home ground, so that'll be an interesting game.
Glenunga undefeated, host Brighton with 2.5 wins. Last time they played at Webb Oval, it was a 16-goal win to the Rams. How far will they win by this week?
They won't win by that much today. They're not as potent as last year, and Brighton are a little bit better defensively, but Glenunga by 6 to 8 goals potentially.
Fascinating one up at the newly renovated Harpers Field. Can't wait to get up there. Golden Grove and Payneham Norwood Union.
Now, that is a big match with ramifications on the ladder. Golden Grove for mine have been a bit stiff. A lot of people have asked me, we thought tip Golden Grove to come up to Div 1 and maybe win it all, and they're sitting 8th, 9th on the ladder. They've had a lot of close losses. They had a couple of key injuries. So they're still in the mix. They can still play finals. They're just in that big group of teams that can go either way for them. I expect them to win at home against Payneham today.
And the rematch of the game that we saw in round 1, Tea Tree Gully now hosting Sacred Heart. The Gullies were good for maybe 2.5 quarters before Sacred Heart completely shut them down.
Yeah, if you remember that game, it was very hard to score in that game. It was a real rusty sort of round 1 encounter. Tea Tree Gully need to win, I think, because I think they're better than some of the chasing teams around them. They've just had those 2 or 3 close losses, but they need to win today to just separate themselves and book themselves in the top 5 and keep them away from the relegation game.
All right, now we have the captains coming in for the coin toss. What also threw me initially was that whilst Craig Pitt is the coach, he's not the captain. That's actually Lachlan McNamara. You can see him there with Lockie. St. Peter's captain about to approach. We might go down to the field. Lachlan, talk us through the coin toss.
Yeah, there's lots of handshakes going on at the minute, boys, as we wait for the coin toss to go. Call was heads. So there we go. It is going to be Prince Alfred. They're going to be kicking towards the left of your screen, which means obviously St. Peter's will be going towards the right, boys. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day for footy. That sun, it keeps teasing us. It keeps coming out time and time again. The conditions are pretty good. There is a little bit of a mud pit in the centre with the cricket pitch, but we are ready to go here. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Lockie. Appreciated from the coin toss. Well done. And winning the toss, probably not as big a result as previous weeks, especially last week.
No, there's no real uphill, downhill, I don't think, here. And it's quite a still day, although it's quite cool. It's not windy, whereas we were at Brighton last week. It was quite blustery, wasn't it? So both these teams have really skilled players. Phil, they love to stretch over. This is a very wide oval. This is why Prince Alfred have been so good at their ball use. There's space to use the angles, to use the fat wing, to get out the other side. So both teams will try and keep possession of the ball by foot. So we should see a high mark count today with the dry conditions and the strengths of the two teams. And
there's what I call the old line pocket down the Melbourne Street end, which Princes of Kington. To me, that's a dead pocket. I've never seen a goal kicked in really from that pocket.
And that pocket goes very wide.
The Oban entrance pocket, not so bad. You can see our umpiring crew. We've got Dennis Chester, we've got Alex Hawhey, we've got Luke Harrington, the field umpire, Zach Bold and Wayne Steer on the boundary. Fair ground to cover for 2 boundary umpires today. Chris May and Jason Rigg are our goal officials. We'll try not to mention them by name for the rest of the afternoon. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye out for awards, and you're very happy Lockie's here to go and give those out at game's end. Archie's footwear, Belgravia apparel, New Balance, and of course the iconic Dartfish beanie for the best player. Nearmouth Mouthguards expecting a lot of magic moments this afternoon. And the Moseley Bar and Kitchen, well, they bring us the team player, which is really open license for you to give an award to from you for anything to anyone.
Yeah, it's a good voucher too, that Moseley.
Yes.
Great establishment, the Moseley. If you want to just go on a date, press the missus, or just catch up with the boys, the Moseley, great place.
Well, it's a great location, Moseley Square. When I was living in Queensland, we'd come back to Adelaide, visit family. I'd migrate to Moseley Square pretty quickly. Used to enjoy a gyros from the Lamb Spit, but hasn't been there for a while, unfortunately. But that's okay, because the Moseley Bar and Kitchen
Before
is
we
there
get
instead.
back to the footy, credit to the aromas coming from the Prince Alfred barbecue as well today.
Yep.
Phil, you would have been most impressed with.
Half-time, they have a barbecue, a grilled chicken roll. Just hoping they're still around. Make sure you put extra chicken on. Sure they would have for this game, so there's still some
We'll put in a shout out to Jim Parkinson, the president of the Prince Alfred Old Collegians.
He'll have them sorted out. I mean, they do a lot with a little here, Princes. I'm really glad they've got their new facilities. Pretty cramped still, but light years ahead of what they used to put up with.
Amazing little place in there.
Yep. What shall we call it? Boutique.
Yes, boutique.
Boutique. Big game ahead. Lockwood's in the middle versus Neil. One of many great battles. They've been battling since the young days, Princes and St. Peter's. Let's get this one underway. Thanks for joining us on Filming Footy. Neil will get the first tap. Princes in the red, and then Neil will lay a tackle. and gets the first kick.
He's a bit of a local football Shane Mumford, Neil, isn't he? He's an animal. He tapped that ball and then he hunted it. And
Now, you're saying that in a positive way.
In a positive way, yeah. A lot of ruckmen just do the tap and stand and watch the play unfold. He doesn't. He gets amongst it. Great work by him early.
So we're down in the pocket on the outer side, picked up nicely by Searles, gets it back to Macaulay. Macaulay with the high, long kick into the Oban pocket. It will be a stoppage.
This is a wide oval, Phil, isn't it? You can see how far away those players are from the pocket. We are in lots of space here at Park 9.
Lockwood a tap. As far as Archie Perks, he gets a kick away. Where's it ended up? It's ended up between the big post and the little post. By my reckoning, that's a behind, and Princes are on the board first. Maybe the slightest of slight breezes to the left. We might get Lockie's opinion on that as the day goes on. Let's go down to Lockie. Tell us about the breeze, mate.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it at the coin toss. The breeze, it does appear at times and then it disappears again. There's no real direction in it. I don't think that call with it being to the left is probably fair. But I was at the huddle, and there's going to be a ball up, so I'll be really quick. We are going to earn some respect. That was Prince Alfred at the huddle.
Okay, that was the message from the huddle. Nice pick up and snap and goal. Jaden Davis juice, I'm going to say, is snag that. Of course, we do have the Jag Meatwork snag of the day, but not this game.
We'll need to see a replay of that. Davis doesn't need much time, but a disappointing start for St. Peter's. They gave away an easy centre clearance. They gave away a shot, a goal from a stoppage first, which went through for a behind, and then they've given away an easy goal from a stoppage there. So, yeah, no sweeper in place for St. Peter's. That's just far, far too easy. A little bit of a lacklustre start for them. Still early days, but great start for Princes and Davis, who is capable of kicking a bag, Phil, especially when he gets an early one.
Yes, 8th goal for the season for Prince Alfred. He's also played 3 Sandford games with a goal for the Adelaide Crows.
He's due for a day out. Watch out for Davis in that forward pocket today.
One of those, Brazel and Davis, they've got the duo up forward. Although you mentioned their issue is actually what they leak out the back end.
Yes, and the supply of the ball movement's not quite there this year.
Well, you don't quite have the Curran Slee in defence. You don't have the Trengove. You don't have Jolly today, although Jolly is part of the 2024 squad. He is one.
He's a big out today, though. Hayden Jolly is a good response here for St. Peter's. Strong tackle. Get the ball going into their half. First
look at the Saints. They go inside 50 and spots up a target in Hamish Allen. Yes, we've got 3 Allens. We've got Charlie wearing 13, Hamish 27 and Edward 37. If I ever struggle for a player, I'm just going to say Allen. I've got a decent chance of getting it right. Henry Slade. I'm going to call a whole bunch of new Prince Alfred players that I haven't seen before. Slade is one of those. Clears it out half back and finds Will Schmidt, who's one of the 5 ins. Goes across board to Tommy Sumner. He's now one of the veterans. And Princes are working up nicely. They've got Ian Ello wearing the Trengove 9. I'll try not to call Trengove when he gets the ball today. He's sitting in the pocket as Ethan Bold, another new one for Princes. I'll be calling those. They sends it forward, but a quick response. Going down the guts are the Saints trying to pick it up. I've got a number 31 that I don't have. But anyway, Nick Michaels had a fumble, had time to recover. Might get Lockie onto that just to check who 31 is. So we'll make the adjustment. But it's in the pocket at the moment, and there's going to be a stoppage. There's going to be a stoppage.
Umpires crouching. No.
There is a stoppage.
Entertaining game so far, Phil. One end to the other.
Princes trying to be methodical. Saints moving with speed.
Yes. And that's their one with St. Peter's. They're a fast, young team.
Taking a bounce, Lockie McNamara. Not sure if the ground is a bit soft.
A little bit ambitious, maybe taking a bounce. It looks good on the screen, doesn't it? But perhaps a little bit spongy out there. We might get our boundary rider onto that. Would he be bouncing the ball
Once
today?
He's worked out a number 31 for St. Peter's, yes, for us. So lucky to overload you, but whilst we have you, we've got to make use of you. Meanwhile, so we've only had the couple of scores, the goal to Davis and the behind to Perks. 1-1-7 no score, opening, which has gone 5 minutes of game time. Any matchups you're observing at all?
More so looking around what's happening at the ball. St. Peter's a couple of times haven't had a sweeper in place, and Prince Alfred, luckily before McNamara got out the front of the stoppage, is just the bounce that cost them from getting the ball inside 50.
Will Schmidt is the loose man in defence. haven't quite picked up. I think Saints have an extra player at the contest or just beyond the contest.
They usually do that.
McGill.
A half forward will go to the ball, and Prince Alfred have always been good at holding a back six. You'd think they've got a spare, but they just maintain a structure behind the ball.
Yeah. Macaulay had it. As I said, we've got the lead. Now we're going to stop St. Peter's getting the ball. See if it lasts.
They'll use the
for
width
the next
here,
three
and
quarters.
I'm surprised they didn't come out to this side.
Well, they've gone to the Hackney Road wing, off hands, and there's a couple of Saints ready to swoop on it. This is Vrodos, who was their best last week. Not the first time he's been best for St. Peter's. He was their best in Ferris last year. He's kicked it to Ben Siebels. Siebels spots up Craig Pitt. We'll go to Lockie. If you're quick, Lockie, you can go now.
Yeah, David Grant's moved from 1 into the 31, boys. So that's what was going on there.
Thanks, mate. David Grant. Man of mystery. Play HQ has his record for this year, and that's it.
Just appeared.
Just appeared. I want to play footy. Okay. Princes with the attacking foray. You've noticed so far, Adam, that they've had the ball as far away from us as possible. Oh, there's a bouncing kick chance for Ianello.
He got a boot
has
to
he
that,
kicked?
Clark.
Has he got a boot to it? He has. Maybe an early nomination for goal.
Might need a replay on that.
Just to check the player.
And that was Clark, Ollie Clark, that got his boot to that.
Okay.
I thought the tackle had it stuck.
You can see him lurking. There he is. Yes, it is. So Ianello.
They'll be disappointed with that. St. Peter's got to disarm that. But well done by Ollie Clark. Great composure in the goal square. And they're on top at the moment, Prince Alfred. They've looked threatening every time they've gone in. They've been able to move the ball a little bit too easily around the ground. They've moved the ball away from stoppage very easily, Prince Alfred. So they look good early in this match.
Ollie Clark, another one from Princes who's played for the Adelaide Crows. 11 Sandful games. Has played every game this year for the Red Men. That's his 12th goal. And your inside 50 count would probably be reasonably even at the
4-2.
4-2,
Still 4-2,
okay.
yeah.
About
Now
to be
5-2.
5-2. But going to be quickly repelled. So Ed Colley off the defensive 50. Hello! This is what a football looks like. Although Ianello's gotten away, he'll quickly run off his opponent in Higgins. Not that Higgins playing 50 games. That's a
Great run down there by Ben McGill.
Yep.
Much needed as well, because they just look like they're on top around the ground, Prince Alfred, don't they?
Well, they've got some finishes. And we don't know if Saints have, because whilst they've had the two, I'm surprised it's only 2 inside 50s, but they've been pretty shallow ones. I don't think they've got within, say, 25 metres of the goal. And they've got their 3rd inside 50. It's gone straight to a player in red. That's at least 2 that have been like that. Macaulay. Now they've got some space to open up. Ethan Bald.
Nowhere to go up the line, so great composure there. Been really impressed with Siebels behind the football field. He's repelled 2 or 3 entries so far.
Bald, who played a league game in 2022, played all reserves last year, and has no record I could find prior to 2022. We will go to Lockie Gould at the next break when there is one. As Ollie Clark, the goal scorer, coming off the half-back flank. Gee, they're methodical, but their kicks are accurate at the moment. Riley Davis has it. Maybe, Lockie, we will go to you, because this might take some time.
Just hanging out by the Prince Alfred bench, and they were talking as the ball was going inside forward 50. They were happy with their front-end pressure, saying that there was a good example in that play. They're very happy that they're not moving the ball too quickly.
So, okay. And that long kick has produced a free for Prince Alfred.
Yeah, it didn't look
Josh
like there
Garrels.
wasn't a lot in that. Brazel couldn't get to the contest, and Garrels was stuck under the ball and got a holding free kick. Don't mind that from Davis. There was a slow, methodical build-up, but he just went around the man on the mark and got it in deep to 25 metres.
Garrels, where's the 13? Lucky for some. He's dobbed his first for the day. It is all Prince Alfred, old collegians. That's their 3rd goal. Garrels kicked 2 last time they met. Played 15 games last season for the A's, but didn't get a berth in the grand final.
Ooh.
That's always a tough season.
Yeah, but that showed the depth that they have, and that's what makes good footy clubs, isn't it, Phil? But yeah, for mine, Prince Alfred just able to move the ball too easily. We mentioned before, this is a wide oval, and Princes are so comfortable here. They're so methodical. They train it. they were able to use the expanses. They come back through the corridor and then get a deep entry from there. But St. Peter's need to find a way to just put a little bit more pressure on those kickers.
Well, early signs are their 68-point loss to Sacred Heart last week has shocked them into action. And they're taking it out on St. Peter's at the moment. Neil, the thumb, only as far as Lockwood. Doesn't get to go too far. We're still in the cricket pitch. You're with Phil Hurden and Jeffries. Lockville and Gould on the boundary. You're filming Footy Crew. Coming to you from Park 9 on a pretty nice Saturday afternoon compared with the previous week. We've got adjusted to cold, wintry conditions. This one's pretty much a pleasant Saturday. And right now, this is usually, Adam, if I had a co-play-by-play, I'd be handing over because I've had about 2 minutes and nothing but 5
4
stoppages.
repeat stoppages, but that's a good sign for St. Peter's, though. They need to just settle, put some pressure around the ball. Won the arm wrestle, got it forward.
Get the clearance. It's an inside 50 at the back. Oh, off hands. Here's a chance for the Saints in Henry. Creates some space. Kicks to the top of the square where there's reasonably even numbers. Snap is good, and St. Peter's are on the board, courtesy of Nick Michaels. He had a goal last week. That's his 15th for the season. He is the leading goal scorer for the Spockers. Hopefully that's a term, and they needed that to settle.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they got it. I mentioned that they got the arm wrestle around the ball. They didn't let Prince Alfred leave until they won the ball, so that's a great sign that they're able to do that. Nick Michaels is a handy goal kicker, Phil. He bobs up with 2s and 3s every week, which in Division 1 as a small forward, he's a small medium forward. He can crumb, but he can also mark on the lead as well. He generally plays out of the goal square, so he's an interesting matchup for the opposition. Good goal to him to start. Last
year, 7 games, 14 goals. He's now in his 8th game, and he's kicked 15 goals. So
it's a 2 goals game average in Division 1 is very, very good, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. It's the consistency of it. Forwards are, by nature, they'll have a good day, and then they'll have an absolute Barry Crocker. As Saints, well, they got a clearance off defence, trying to put in the path of Jordan Lockwood. He picks it up, gets around Neil, kicks towards forward 50. A bit of a fumble. Chance for Henry, who did help set up the last goal to Pounce, and the man of mystery, David Grant.
The other thing on that last goal, Phil, was St. Peter's got a deep entry to a dangerous spot. Too often they want to pinpoint to a lead going inside 50. I'd be getting the ball in deep and testing out the opposition's defence early, see if they're up for the challenge.
Yeah, that 15 to 25 metre point is where you can create havoc going inside 50. It was intended for Ed Allen. In the end, he had to play defender to stop Prince's breaking away. Will be a stoppage, a rare stoppage at this end of the field. Newton Lockwood, that's going to be a great battle for the whole day. Coast forward, Lux of Fortune. De Casare the umpire decided didn't go far enough. And playing in front's worked out for William Charlick, who's taken it in front of the goal scorer in Michaels. Holy Toledo, we're going to have a play down this swing. And it's a good kick as well, finds the coast. That'll get some brownie points. Craig Pitt has it now.
Got away with one there before, Phil. The St. Peter's player all on his own inside 50 at that forward stoppage.
Yeah. So the kick by Pitt pretty much to a contest under the shade of the shadows of some huge gum trees that outline around this Park 9.
That is a good sign for St. Peter's that they did make Prince Alfred kick it up the line. They've been able to switch the ball and pinpoint through the middle so far. So they've just tightened up their game a bit, St. Peter's, which is good to see.
Yeah, they didn't have the free man in Schmidt. You're about to see him. They didn't utilise him going forward on the last play. They've got him now. Again, happy to go with the long kick where, in theory, Saints have the numbers. Ed Coley was about to have it. Stolen from him. Macaulay is tackled instantly that he touched the ball, and that's for Rodos with the tackle. So stoppage pretty much 55 metres out. Prince's goal. They scored the first. Saints scored the last. 13-point margin. 14.5 gone first quarter. Through the hands of Henry, who gained some redemption by at least stopping Prince's clearing it.
Almost could have got paid that mark. Look, he had a good clunk, but good decision by the umpire.
Just on the edge there, wasn't it?
Great follow-up tackle. When your key position players are doing that, always a good sign.
Wet day might have paid it. So it's Henry and Neil. You'd think that would be a Prince's victory, not on this occasion. Colley's got it out to McGill. They're conceding ground. It's going to work because McGill, great second effort. Here's the pickup by David Grant. My first real look at him. His kick towards the goal takes that's going to be an effective kick because it went to Lillicrap. And in the end, under a bit of pressure, Ian Allo concedes the contest. They're right in front of the Hans Sportal scoreboard, which you can't quite see. There you go. It shows Prince's 3-1-19, St. Peter's 1 straight 6. Last time we saw St. Peter's, it was at Payneham, if you remember, Adam, and St. Peter's couldn't kick straight to save themselves that day.
Both teams struggled with accuracy that day.
They did. Not so much of an issue here. Schmidt gets another touch. So that loose man in defence is mostly paying dividends. It's a one-on-one battle between, I think, Fergus, Carruthers and Searles. This time won by Searles. Out to Bald, I think, in the blue boots as we go out the other side. Bald yet with the kick, and that's gone a fair way wide. If you're driving along Hackney Road, just watch out. There's a football coming your way.
Certainly settled, haven't they, in the last 5 minutes? Haven't they? Even on that, it looked like they were out, but they were able to pressure.
Yeah.
They had to lift their pressure in the first 10 minutes. Their pressure was non-existent around the ball.
Princes haven't had an inside 50 for a while.
So almost evened up at 7-6.
Okay. Difference being, when Princes had that early run, they got some goals on the board. And a lot of the Saints ones generally have been shallow, although they are getting better. Edward Allen in the Henry direction. He's been a bit of a target for them up forward, or he just gets to the ball well, one of the two.
With Johnny Reid now playing at centre-half back, he's been asked to do a lot, Henry. Just provide those outlet kicks on the wing and be a target inside 50 and take a good defender with him, which is what he's done so far.
Going to be a stoppage. As you can see the 50-metre arc, so we're probably about 70 metres. It looks closer. It's interesting, from our level, it looks a lot closer to the arc than it does from our camera spot, as we've got the two to compare. Macaulay's kick. Not really much happening at the moment. It's a fair bit of kick-to-kick on the outer wing, our favourite kind of footy. As Saints take a mark, let's go down to Lachlan Gould.
Yeah, I was just listening to the coach and Tom Sumner having a little bit of a conversation. He said, if I have to sacrifice something forward, I'm happy. That came from Tom Sumner, and the coach said, that's what I'm trying to stop. And also Thomas Sells and Ethan Bald have swapped wings, so a bit of position changing.
All right, thanks for that. Lockie Gould, Adelaide's premier boundary eavesdropper. Archie Perks has it. Certainly seems to be a preference for that outer side. Maybe there's some wind out there. That one almost went out of bounds. A bit of dash. Riley Davis to the goal line, and has that been? No, it has been marked over the line. Another point. 3-2-20, Prince Alfred. St. Peter's Old Collegians 1 straight 6. That is the Hans Sportal scoreboard. Time on, 90 seconds away.
Great play by Siebels again in the D50. Laced out a pass down the corridor under pressure that set up that attacking foray. He's had a great start to this game.
Meanwhile, Pitt collects the kick in.
Just struggle on kickouts a little bit, St. Peter's, don't they? We noted that when they played at Payneham early in the year, didn't we, Phil? And already today, they've just not sure about their method or how they want to get the ball out from their kickouts. A lot of turnovers coming back every time they kick it out.
So it's a pretty intense spot here for the Saints defence, but they seem to be up for it. There's some quick hands, 4 different players utilised. And, well, they had the mark, had Hamish Allen not been interfered with by Ian Allo.
This is a bit where they struggle because they don't have a lot of big key position type players on the slow plays. See if they can get a contest here, which they do. Princes
seem to have them for height. Saints maybe for speed. Skills still to be decided. Some good hands by Princes. They'll get the clearance as it was Slade onto Davis. Now it's a hot footy in the middle. And was there a push? Yes, there was.
Advantage
by
taken.
De Cesare on Davis. And we end up with McGill. We're going to bring it back the clubroom side. Will it stay in bounds? Yes, it will, just for James Higgins. So we should say congratulations. James and Ben Bilperio playing their 50th games for St. Peter's today. So congrats to them. And it's with the loose man getting a stack of possessions, Will Schmidt. He's had a say, and I reckon 80% of the defensive clearances that Princes have put up so far. And here's their chance to go forward. Wade Chant from Port Macdonald, the Demons. One of a few new players for Princes this year. And holding the ball on Hamish Allen. Not appropriate disposal. Lockie McNamara has it. Of course, best player on ground, Archie's footwear, over 50,000 pairs. I assume it's 50,000 pairs sold. Producer Hugo just gave me a 55-star reviews. That's what it was. 5-star reviews, sorry. Yes, it's a bit hard to read the ad and watch the footy simultaneously. But this is Wade Chant. Now,
hard to get the depth here. He's on about 50 metres, so it'll take a big
and
kick
I've got
to clear
very
the line.
little on. He kicked 4 goals in 18 games for the Demons down the southeast last year. Looks good off the boot. Just has it got the depth? No, it hasn't. And will be conceded.
It's one of those wasted ones again for mine, Phil. With the if you don't have the distance in you, just lob it to the top of the square. It won't work every time, but it'll never work when it gets that close to the line.
Yep. Unless you've got a really good forward who can take a mark, and they're low percentage. It was interesting. The 5 ins today for Prince Alfred: Schmidt, Charlick, Chant, Perks, and Slade. None of them played in the Bs last week. So where have they? And they didn't play in the Cs either. I did check. Where do they come from?
Just back from injury.
Sliding back in.
Back from a holiday in the snow or to Bali over the June long weekend. Took the extra week.
So not Queensland or the Gold Coast. It's just going to be Bali.
And again, Phil, we see St. Peter struggling on the kick out. Every kick out they've had has come straight back in for a shot on goal. So that's something, and we noted that a few weeks ago, and they tidied that up. They want to go short from the kick outs, hasn't worked. Yep. They need to get numbers at all. One of their experienced players, Wicks, I think it is here with the shot for goal. Yeah,
Wicks is usually good for a few goals a season, 3 last year in 20 games. One of the 9 premiership players out here today, along with Brazel, Pitt, McCauley, McNamara, Juice Davis, Ollie Clark, Jordan Neal and Tom Sumner. We will go to Lockie Gould after this kick, assuming it scores. You would assume from 45 out he's a half a chance of that. And he has dobbed it. Been a while, but Princes have their first goal, their 4th goal, and Wicks has his 3rd for the season. Let's go Bandry side, thanks to Police Credit Union, to Lockie Gould.
Yeah, Jackie, he just had his ribs tested by the trainers. They're going to send him back, cop a bit of a knock into play.
Okay, Lachlan, can you just repeat the player?
Jack Ianello.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. All right, well, that's early days to be possibly 1 down. And Princes get their buffer back to 21 points, 23.5 gone.
And it's a handy break, isn't it, Phil? This is only a few minutes probably to go. It won't be a long quarter. St. Peter's need to find something here, not let another one through.
Unless there's a 3-goal breeze, which I don't think there is. And the other thing is, what used to be a 3-goal breeze back in the 80s is now like a 1-goal breeze.
Yeah.
Scoring is obviously not as potent as it used to be.
No, the short pass wasn't used as much back in the day. You can still pierce the ball with short passing into the breeze, whereas it wasn't utilised back in the day. It was always just kick it long.
Kick it long. And what was Curl's thing? If you
kick it long, can't go wrong.
If you don't have the ball, fight for it. If you do have the ball, use it. If you don't have the ball, get it. And there was one, if it's in dispute, win it. Something like that.
Just the basics, isn't it? Basics. Coaching was pretty basic back in the day, wasn't it?
Which
I always wondered if the Williams brothers coached the Woodville Peckers, whether they would have won any premierships with just the basicness coming out. All about players. Well, one thing I know from 20 years of coaching, Phil, is that one thing I know is great players make great coaches.
Yes, it's one of the most frustrating things, isn't it? That you put so much in theory, and then you rely on so many others.
Yes.
It's the same I found when I was working administration at a footy club as well. So much of your Monday depended on what happened on the Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, there is actually a game happening. I'll get back to that. Is Searles' kick and
It's gone very wide.
ready to call some play-by-play, and he puts it well and truly out of bounds. It almost gets the feeling there's a cross breeze.
A lot of balls have drifted out of bounds over there, haven't they? So I think that's been predominantly from pressure. The trees aren't moving a lot as they switch the footy and come out to the commentary box side.
So here comes the swinging play looking for Ben McGill. He'll centre it. I think that was for Nick, wasn't it? Didn't happen, no, wasn't it? It was for Charlie Allen, my apologies. Schmidt, a bit far upfield through the centre. One-on-one contest, but Saints are in front. Should be able to get it out. Battling hard for it was Ed Allen. He's got some help from Hamish Allen. Can we get Charlie in there for a moment and we'll have the triple going?
Comedy of errors there. St. Peter's dropped 2 marks. I'd love to have taken on the lead inside 50
but
here.
They have
the defensive mark, but there. So a little bit of a nervous start for mine in this game for St. Peter's, who've been in such good form. But Princes have certainly had the better of this opening quarter.
Yes. Shortest road trip, I think, in the entirety of the Adelaide Footy League.
Do you reckon they're tired from walking from their house to the ground, maybe?
Well, they pretty much could have changed in their home change rooms and crossed up the pedestrian crossing and wandered over. But they didn't.
Starting to genuinely get on tops. 4 centre bounces to 1, 12 inside 50s to 6, Phil. So it's a bit of a domination in this first quarter now.
Princes looking to seal the deal. One more goal would make it special for them. They have the 21-point lead. And Hamish Allen had the ball, and I'm not sure about his disposal, but it's a long way away, and the umpire was a lot closer. Glad we've got the extra zoom and the TV monitor today.
This is where St. Peter's need to find a spare behind the football, roll their forwards up high. They cannot concede a late goal here with the siren likely imminent.
Lockwood did get the tap, and that will officially be a St. Peter's clearance, even though it went all of 2 metres. Picked up by Searles onto Craig Pitt. We're inside 50. Is that a grab? No, it was touched. Here's Wicks. He's already scored 1 goal. Hand pass back to create the open player, except it allowed a Saints player to soccer it into some space. Gives them a few seconds before the defence has to set up again, as Siebel's onto Searles, who faked going backwards to go forwards. But Ed Allen has taken the mark. Cross goals. Nick McGill looking for Ben. Ben's got to beat 2 to do this. He tried his hardest, in fact, held up Davis long enough for the cavalry to arrive. Unfortunately, that said cavalry, which I'm going to assume is Fergus Carruthers. Tackle a bit wayward on Ollie Clark. Clark's kick. Nicely picked off.
Much needed intercept mark there.
And they'll find Hamish Allen on the...
See if they can play with a little bit more composure here, Phil. They were going for the risky switch at the 28-minute mark before, which they don't need to concede a turnover goal here.
Take the deficit at 21 points and regroup, as it was Charlie Allen who took the intercept mark earlier. He spots up David Grant in front of a few rugged up, deck-chaired supporters, working it down the Hackney Road wing as the quarter time siren goes. That quarter went 28 minutes and 33 seconds. It is Prince Alfred 4-3, St. Peter's 1 straight. The goal scorers Prince Alfred, Riley Davis, Mitch Wicks, Josh Garrells. Let me start again. Mitch Wicks, Josh Garrells, Jaden Davis and Ollie Clark, the single goal scorer. Nick Michaels for St. Peter's. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Adam with some stats and his thoughts. We'll have Lockie eavesdropping on the huddles, and I'll try and get some scores around the grounds. You're watching the Adelaide Footy League. Thanks to Filming Footy.
been housemates for what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Welcome back, quarter time. You can see there the Prince Alfred huddle, pretty well stretched out in their various groups. St Peter's, on the other hand, pretty much in tight. Adam, before we go to Lockie, your thoughts on the first quarter?
It was a Prince Alfred quarter, wasn't it? Disappointing quarter from St Peter's, to be honest. They started very lacklusterly, gave away 3 easy goals from defensive 50 stoppages. They were beaten at the centre bounce. We were able to move the football around. Prince Alfred, they just steadied in the middle of the quarter. Then again, Prince Alfred got on top late, 14 inside 50s to 6 as a domination. And again, for mine, the biggest concern for St Peter's again is their kickouts. Every time they kick the ball out, Prince Alfred scores. So that's something that they can tidy up. So they need to tidy up their work around the ball and tidy up their kickouts when they do have to do it. So, but it's still early in the game. We've seen St Peter's start games like this and come back, so still a long way to go.
Alrighty, I've got scores from all bar one ground. Just looking for Lockie to make sure I don't miss his huddle report. We've got Port District over Broadview 32-16. We've got Golden Grove trailing Payne Norwood Union. I think it's 34-26. And we've got Glenunga. There's Lockie. He's still roaming the boundary. Okay. We've got Glenunga. This is a 40. They've scored 40 points in the first quarter at Webb Oval. Brighton just the 16. Yeah, what I am missing at the moment is I always seem to miss the Sacred Heart game somehow, even though this one is not at Sacred Heart. I will get that shortly. Let's go to Lachlan Gould for a huddle report.
Yeah, I was over at the St Peter's huddle, boys. It was pretty hardcore down there. The line used was disgusting. That went away from everything we talked about, and I expect a response. That's come directly from the head coach.
Well, that's why we have you on the boundary, thanks to Police Credit Union, Lockie Gould, because we love taking it direct from the head coach, directly to you watching at home, thanks to Filming Footy. Second quarter underway. What have each team's got to focus on, Coach Jeffries?
He has every right to be disappointed with his side there, St Peter's coach, because they were very lacklustre in how they came out and approached that. But like we said, there's a long way to go in this game. He just needs a response and some pressure.
Plenty of time. And based on the first quarter, Saints are going to the scoring end, of which we had 4 goals to 1 kicked. Of course, we won't know if that really is the scoring end until both sides have had
We've had a reversal here for an off-the-ball free kick. Some holding in the Prince Alfred full forward line gives St Peter's the ball back, so a lucky break there.
Can they make the most of it? Here comes Benny McGill into what I call the dead pocket. Nicely done by... I have to check on the... Oh, that's 8 is William Charlick.
Good pathway boy, Will Charlick, border
yes. Noticed that.
Prince Alfred.
So, yes, Premiership coach. So I'm sitting next to from there when you got your reunion coming up, haven't you?
Yes, looking forward to that. Just means I'm getting old as well, though.
Yeah.
So.
You and me both, mate. You and me both. So this is the Cesare. I've been updated on my pronunciation. Do apologise. Did have a friend. Same spelling, different pronunciation. Yeah, he gets out of that dead pocket, looking for Tom Facey, and almost like a foul committed, but no, wrong sport. Free kick given away by Sumner.
A little bit unlucky there, Sumner. There wasn't a lot in that, but he does push the boundaries, Sumner. He wears his opponent like a glove. We saw him in the final series last year, Phil, playing on Michael Wunke, and he really wears his opponent like a second skin, and he was all over there. A little bit of an unlucky free kick, but a good break for St Peter's.
Facey, 3 goals in the league, 5 in the Rezzies. No goals from any of those 8 games, and that maintains with the miss. First blemish on the scoreboard for St. Peter's today. They go to 117. Margin even 20 points.
See what the strategy is from the kick out here. You can see a lot of numbers huddling on the commentary box side, and they'll go long to those numbers.
Yep. If you've joined us early, if you joined us late, the other grades today, Prince has put up a cricket score, 222 for nil from Saints, and on the reserves, I believe it was Prince Alfred who got up by 15 goals, 90 points. So, in retrospect, at the moment, this one a little bit closer. And Searles held up on the 50-metre arc, and lo and behold, we have a football in front of us. That's what it looks like. In ruck is Trenorden for the Red Men.
Ooh, almost had a crouching up there. Trenorden's playing forward pocket second ruck, so this allows Neil to get a spare behind the ball. They've got 2 spare behind the ball now, so St. Peter's need to watch what they do with the clearance here.
Lockwood attempt to kick it, had an airy. Interesting off the side of the boot kick by Facey. Searles sends it inside 50. Well, I'm not... Actually, does that count as an inside 50?
I might give that an inside 50 just for being generous, but technically it has not entered the field of play.
And if you have a look, if you've got the wide enough screen, just on the right-hand side, you can just see... Oh, just disappeared our Hans Portal scoreboard. Of course, this being a public park... There we go, here it is. Being a public park, it does need to be mobile. You wouldn't want to leave it out too much. So if you do got a club and you need a scoreboard, that's one option. I'd love to see that at Glenunga, actually. Yeah, they do need a scoreboard update. The Rams, as Charlie Allen is taken too high.
It's about the only thing they don't do well at Glenunga at the moment, isn't it? Everything else pretty well oiled.
A couple more toilet stops would be handy as well. It's a long way to walk from the booth to the one toilet they have. But anyway, back to this game. As I said, getting old. It was taken by Perks. He was tackled straight away. They've managed to work it around that outer side momentarily. Now, is that a hand pass? If it is, it should be St. Peter's ball. That's what they're just working out. Sam Higgins saying, oh, I'll take that.
Again, their forwards were out of position before Phil, but they're looking for the perfect entry, St. Peter's all the time. And this is the repercussions of Johnny Reid not being there. Sometimes you just need to go long to the top of the square, and I feel like St. Peter's don't do a lot of that.
Speaking of Johnny Reid, look, I know I don't call defenders as much just by the angle of plays. That's got out the back. Somehow, Nick Michaels has snagged one.
He's a clever player, Michaels. Like I said, he's not a genuine small forward. He's a hybrid forward. He can be a crummer. He can be a marked target. He's got he reminds me of sort of a Cameron Zerha that plays for North Melbourne. He's got that sort of strut and goal kicking ability about him, and he's got 4 players around him there, Phil. That's an early contender for goal of the day. Looking at that on the replay, that is some special play there by Michaels. Well done to him.
He's just at the wrong game for the Jag Meatwork snag of the day. We thank them for their support. And a couple of the other games, the goal of the day gets the kilo of gourmet sausages from Jag Meatworks.
They'll be disappointed with that, Prince Alfred, but it was a special goal by Michaels. They'll be disappointed that
I was about to say, if they put the defensive pressure like that consistently, absolute majority of times that's going to end up a tackle, a free, or at worst a behind. But it's the Red Men going forward, and Pitt stands the strongest of the group. Juice Davis will say, yeah, well, that was intended. I intentionally left it for you, coach.
Great mark there by Pitt. Not sure if he's got a 50-metre set shot in him. One of the veteran will be able to clear the line from here, because we hate it when it lobs a metre out.
Yeah.
And he's the coach, so he knows the game plan.
Well, he's a veteran. If he doesn't know his range by now, he never will.
5 years ago, he would kick these easily. It was a very reliable set shot.
Okay. I'm going to back him. From the edge of 50. Never in doubt. The coach has a goal. That's his 6th this year. Initially from down Robe Country. Well known for his time at Tigerland down at the Bay. and certainly has made an impact here at Park 9.
I've been impressed with Craig Pitt's play on the field this year. With the star-studded teams they had field of the last 5 years, he's been able to just sort of go under the radar and do his thing. Now he's really stepped up. And we called a game, I think it was when you were at TG Rally, he would have had 30-plus disposals. He plays everywhere. He plays half-back, he plays mid, he plays forward. Great contested mark forward of the ball there. So he's having a great season personally on field, Craig Pitt as well.
1 goal apiece. An interesting St. Peter's, 2 goals to the 1, both on pretty low percentage but well executed snaps. Prince's 5 goals, 5 individual goal scorers. Certainly last year they had weapons galore, and it's working for them in this one. In many ways, this game is about going back to halcyon days of school footy. These two, if you didn't know, every college, although I better get back to the game because Ollie Clark, mentioned everyone was a single goal scorer, not anymore. He's got 2 for the Redmen. That's 2 in a minute. We've got a game-high 26-point lead.
Again, we met St. Peter started the quarter so well, but watch Clark here, and then no pressure, no player put any pressure on him in the forward pocket there. He's able to just run and stand there. Normally in Division 1 football field, you see a buzz of players around that, and he just found a massive amount of space. So alarm bells in the St. Peter's coach's box. Severe lack of pressure there. That's too easy in Division 1 just to allow that to happen, especially a player like Clark.
That won't look good when they do the Dartfish stats breakup and look at defensive pressure, because that one may not have registered. Neil gets the clearance. Can this be a hat-trick of goals for Princes and really break it open? The Cesare, partly tackled, will be cleared, courtesy of Ed Allen. Pitt with the thump down towards the middle. Here comes Princes back again. Not pretty football at the moment, but that's the hand pass that sets up Rhodos. And that sets up the lead. I reckon that's Michaels, who's taken a more traditional forward position so he can snap him, he can lead, he can mark. Let's see what he's like on the set shot.
Yeah, and he's keeping him in the game, isn't he? Really, like he's kicked 2 special goals. You know, they haven't had some nice play with him out to settle and take a mark and have a set shot. So he's having a good day. Just needs a little bit more supply, Phil.
Yeah, well, that was beautiful supply. The quick hand pass out to Vrodos, who delivered on point. Needs a good finish to keep St. Peter's in the contest. It's low, it's straight, it's there. Nick Michaels has 14 goals for the season coming in today. He's raised that to 17. The junior from a ground not too far from here, the Walkerville Cats.
Yeah, a lot of the boys here would have gone and played some junior football at Walkerville for sure. They'd love to have all those players back, wouldn't they? But yeah, Michael's first mark inside 50 for the game and a great set shot. 3 goals to St. Peter's, 3 to Michael's. He's looking up and about. We might have to, not too early to look at the match up there. That was too easy. But he's looking for a day out. Michael's, great start for him. Much needed response.
So Princes have won the quarter. I think it was 19 points at quarter time. 20 points now. Redman with the clearance. Ollie Clark looking for his 3rd, and he's going to get a free kick.
Oh, he's very lucky there, Tyson Brazel, because he took that advantage.
Yes.
A very forgiving umpire. Going for the lazy left foot snap, but it won't come up on the edits because it's been called back again. This matchup on Clark for mine, and the centre bounce, Phil. They get the goal back, St. Peter's, and McNamara, who was in the team of the year, first ruck, is able to waltz out of the centre bounce. So again, a little bit of a disappointing structure around the football for St. Peter's. Just far, far too easy.
So we're pretty much right behind it. You're filming Footy Crew live from Park 9 this afternoon as expected. No problems for Ollie Clark, who's been with the Redmen since 2017.
He's a good player, Ollie Clark. He can play wing, he can play forward. He's a really good mark for his size. He's a tough matchup inside 50. The big stat for mine, 8 centre clearances to 2, Phil. So that's a domination. It's easy. It's not a hat kick coming out the back. It's walking out the front of the stoppage. So they might have to, their midfield coach might have to look at employing a defensive-minded sweeper to at least put pressure on these stoppage exits. You can't allow someone with the speed of McNamara to just come out.
So talk me through the concept of a sweeper, because I've been watching a lot of the Euros.
So see where 3 is standing, Collie. He needs to stay in that position and not hunt the ball. He's there now, but if you get too close to the contest, what they can do is come out. When you're a defender, the last thing you want is your opposition coming out the front of the stoppage. You want to force a hack kick and a handball chain out the back.
Scores around the ground. We have finally caught up one from Teacher Gailey. The carrier pigeons turned up. Or should I say, Hugo's done a magnificent job in tracking one down. Teacher Gailey were leading Sacred Heart by 1 point. 12-11. Sounds like another low-scoring affair between those two after we endured it at the senior school.
They're very good defensively, Sacred Heart. They're almost as good as Glenunga on the defensive side of the game, which is why they sit where they sit.
Which is why, was it 5-4 in the game?
It was a dour game, 1v2, but that's footy. It's
that's
not
what
pretty,
finals are going to be.
Those clubs aren't complaining. You got to defend if you want to win.
Yes, at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a Glenunga Sacred Heart Grand Final. They've got a gap on the rest of the competition, but long way to go. Lockie, what's happening boundary side?
Yeah, they were very unhappy, St. Peter's, with conceding that last goal. The head coach punched the table, so it's a very, very unhappy times down at St. Peter's.
Okay, status of the table?
The table's fine.
Okay, good to know. We probably need to do an awareness campaign for... What were you like a coach? Were you a table thumper,
Yep.
a phone smasher?
Great mark there by Clark. Yeah, hit a few tables in my time.
Good change of topic.
Got better every year I coached. Early days, mental.
You matured and mellowed as time went on.
But I can see his frustration, right? Because they played such good football. It's
Yes.
Coach O'Leary. And this is a big matchup. It's the old school rivalry. And his team has come out and lost all structure and all pressure. So you can't win games. Look, again, their goal side. And that's going to be very lucky. So McNamara is the problem. They need to get an experienced player on him goal side. He just is coming goal side, no pressure. Should have kicked that goal then. So, yeah, something's really lacking for St. Peter's at the moment. They've come out here looking for a kick and a catch and not a fight.
Which is very rare.
And that's why
I
when
would
I coach
have
you,
thought they'd be pretty
you're always
hyped up for this
Yeah,
game.
and that's why Coach O'Leary would be disappointed. You don't want to have to motivate your players. You shouldn't have to when you're playing in these types of games. You should be able to talk structures and things like that. You shouldn't have to motivate your players, but right now his players' effort is lacking.
Yeah, well, maybe it's Prince's rising to the occasion because they had some good depth, and a lot of that has been tested this year. And they were embarrassed last week. Sacred Heart, the middle school, 68-point defeat, something that's just unknown for this team in. Well, their last, in this stint in Div 1, where they've been pretty much top 3 just about every season. And this has been their response, and unfortunately St. Peter's is the next opponent that's copped it and haven't been able to do anything about it. We've got a free kick. Lockie, just hold the phone for a sec because we'll just do the inside 50. Looking for Pitt. He's going to get a free kick, and again, they want to pay advantage and stop, which is wise. Whilst Pitty's lining up, let's go to Lockie Gould.
Yeah, so Archie Perks is just getting a bit of a back massage on the bench. He's got a bit of a sore back, but not to to Prince Alfred. They reckon he's going to be all right.
Okay, how much are they charging for those?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay. Been a stressful week. Pitty is in the Channel 7, Channel 10 pocket. Used to be the HQ. Used to be fun when the helicopter used to land in the middle of the afternoon. They've since moved and it's all accommodation now. The Hackney Hotel pocket, shall we say. That is a pretty decent kick from the coach. Craig Pitt. Neomorph magic moment, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon Clark might have that as well for the first quarter, but he's becoming a handful, Pitt, up forward, isn't he? Very good shot for goal from out wide. Again, that's their 4th goal from the quarter, and all 4 goals, Phil, have come out of stoppage. So again, they were able to come out the front of the stoppage. Free kick to Pitt, not a lot in it, but a great set shot for him. Alarm bells ringing for St. Peter's. They must respond soon. It's not just on the scoreboard. The scoreboard's still close enough if they're good enough, but they just need to lift on pressure and they need to change their structure around the ball and get a sweeper in place.
Game high, 33-point lead. Going to be a bit more in a sec, maybe. Brazel's leading in the race for the ball, although beaten by Wilston. Brazel gets it back, needs some help. Has it. Think that's Ball's kick. Going to be right by the goal line, and he's dobbed
I
it.
think he called touched off the boot, did he not? Yes,
Yes,
there
it's
is
a
touched
touch,
off the
okay.
boot. We could hear that there. Again, lucky again. I know I keep harping on it, Phil. Wow, they just streamed out the front of the stoppage again. No pressure whatsoever.
Well, they did it early, didn't they? They got a stream of inside 50s in the first 7 minutes and got 3 goals out of it, which gave them the buffer that they've held on to ever since. And right now, they're trying to put this game away by half-time. Spock, who try and use their speed, probably need to have a little bit of keepings off just for the moment. A couple of pinpoint passes with the 50 gamer in Pilpario. He goes right up the middle where there's a bit of blue, but a fair bit of red. They will get the clearance, but not too far. The kick from Grant intercepted.
Siebels again, that was on the intercept, and he's a great ball user under pressure coming out of the back half. Been most impressed with him today.
There's a chance they're running in a wave here. Wick's got the hand pass on, leading up and marking is Davis. Yeah, where do you start? You've got Davis, you've got Brazel, who really hasn't got into the game too much yet, and you've got Pitt, who's got 2 goals. They've got targets to choose from, and St. Peter's defence looks stretched.
Yeah, again, kick mark. Isn't it hard to defend that entry on Davis? And this guy's genuinely a really good set shot from this range.
He kicked 3 goals the last time they met, which was round 1 to open the season across Hackney Road at Caterer Oval. Looking for his second and Prince's 9th to really crack open a big lead. He's missed. So the Hansportal scoreboard has Prince's 8-6-54, St. Peter's 3-1-19. The margin is blown out to 35 points. And St. Peter's last decent inside 50 seems a fair while ago.
Again, he's unsure. Does he want to go short and retain the ball, or does he want to go long to numbers? He's gone long to numbers, which I don't mind that strategy. But again, it's intercepted.
So it's going to come back pretty quickly. Although they've got some numbers here. The 213s do battle, and Allen beats Gorels on this occasion, Charlie. Time on, a minute away. In this quarter, Princes have kicked 4 goals. St. Peter's just the 2. A little bit of an extra push there on Ed Allen. Didn't seem too perturbed by that. Ben McGill, a rare fumble for him. Ollie Clark, the pick up to the run of Gorels. And this lead is now 41 points.
And that's the type of day they're having now, isn't it, St. Peter's? Ben McGill, who's arguably one of St. Peter's best players, just dropped an easy mark there. It happens, but then on the turnover, bang, they had numbers. Great play by Clark not to just whack it on the boot. Gave it to Garrels, who kicked a beautiful shot on the run in front of the faithful there for Prince Alfred, who this is starting to get a little bit ugly, Phil. If you're St. Peter's, again, they're just doing as they please with very little resistance at the moment. Let's see if they can do something a little bit better at the centre bounce here.
Well, you mentioned one of your concerns off the bat when we looked at the premiership ladder was Prince's percentage.
Yeah, that's a good call. They need to get a few points back, don't they?
They do, and if they're in a battle, maybe with St. Peter's later in the season, do a bit to devalue theirs at the same time.
I agree. It's
a big game just historically, but also in the context of this season, probably worth 4 points, not 2. As Saints have had enough. They've got the clearance. Princes with some numbers at the moment, but they haven't got clear possession, and Saints have managed to bottle it up, have they? No, they haven't. Ianello, good to see he's back. After having a bit of an injury in the first quarter. The kick juggled, but marked by Tom Facey. In a little bit of the sunshine. From here, it looks a long way home. It probably is.
I've got a whistle
blown.
Which direction is it going? Free kick to St. Peter's, I think.
David Grant, the man of mystery.
Not allowed a run at that ball by the seams of it. And, yeah, maybe a lucky free kick, but St. Peter's need just a steadier here.
So he has played, this is his second league game. He's played 2 in the resis, has not kicked a goal in either, was best on ground in the reserves last week to get the promotion. Looking for his first Adelaide Footy League A-grade goal, but not on that occasion. Other behind to Saints, 3-3-21. Prince Alfred, 9-6-60. Or you went early. Okay, yeah. Too quick for me, Hugo. I looked down and added a point and you'd already done it. So correction on that. The Hunts Portal scoreboard, give them another plug. 3-2-20 to 9-6-60. 40 points. Not quite in the sphere of my... Have I told you about my 40-40 rule?
No.
Okay. At this level and Sandford level, you get 40 points up with 40 minutes of game time left, you win.
Okay. I think that's probably pretty fair. As we've seen another free kick paid here in the ruck. Not a lot in that again. But sometimes the umpires fall for whoever hits the ground on that occasion. I'd like to see a replay, not a lot in it. But St. Peter's, need to take their luck and have a straight shot.
Charlie Allen has kicked a few of those before. 11 last year, 4 this year, and first today. And, well, St. Peter's get their little bit of purple patch, a miss, but thankfully they've managed to convert one for a goal. And, well, try and keep pace with the rampaging Red Men at the moment. Margin back to 34.
Lucky free kick for mine on that occasion, but made them pay, which is good. They got the last centre clearance St. Peter's after being annihilated at the previous 5. Let's see what they can do here. They need a sweeper in place. They need Ed Allen to hunt the footy and get the ball going their way.
Charlie Allen, the first St. Peter's player not to be called Nick Michaels to kick a goal this afternoon. And again, centre clearance going the way of Red. Who tweaks at ground level, pushes it out only as far as Belperrier. They return the favour to Pitt. Looking for Brazel and holding on, and didn't matter, he took the mark anyway.
That's his specialty, Tyson Brazel. He loves a wrestle and a chest mark. I've made comment early in the season. I don't think he gets his arms out enough to take the overhead mark, but on that occasion didn't need to judge the drop of the ball. Would have got the free kick, but took the mark anyway. And generally, without the commentator's curse, a dead-eye dick from this spot.
Yeah, Prince Alfred looking for their 10th goal. Brazel hasn't got on the party train just yet. Goal last week to the last time these two met, and yeah, the old commentator's curse.
A little bit one there. He's normally a really good kick, Brazel.
Let's go Bantry side. What's happening, Lockie?
I was just down at the St. Peter's bench for that. They just kicked. There was little reaction both on the field and on the bench. One of the assistant coaches noting it just shows where we're at a little bit.
Okay. So even the St. Peter's coaching seems a bit subdued today. As another inside 50, and it's marked by Gross. What's our inside 50?
15-8 this quarter, 29-14 for the match, which sums up where we're at the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly where I thought it would be. Pitt for the lead, and he's grabbed it. He's got a chance to join Ollie Clark with 3, and Nick Michaels for that matter, with 3 goals. Based on the one he kicked near the boundary, I'm not doubting him.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest shot of the 3 that Coach Pitt has had. But again, there's just no pressure there, is there, Phil? Just easy chip, easy chip.
Well, Sam Higgins was in the vicinity, but couldn't stay with Pitt at the time.
I think we're all a little bit surprised, and perhaps like you called, even the St. Peter's bench is just a little bit shell-shocked at what's happened in this first half.
Yeah, it's almost like half-time can't come soon enough just to try and reset things. Margin 35 is 36. Easiest shot is your miss. So that's actually 2 high percentage shots that
dodged a real bullet here, St. Peter's.
You know, they both score, and this one is almost over. Into the middle of the ground we go. Some quick hands, very quick hands. Lockwood lost it. Princeton's trying to come on the rebound. He's going to need a good sit and some great skills from Tommy Searles. I think that's going to classify as a pass. Over the head of the coach. He won't be too impressed by that. Oh, what a tap on! There's your neomorph magic moment. Archie
Perks,
Perks.
yep.
It won't be listed as a handball. It won't be listed as a disposal, but it set up a beautiful goal for the coach.
Yeah.
We'll just watch this, Lockie, then we'll cross back to you.
He knew exactly what he was doing there,
Bang.
Perks, as well, didn't he? And he was pretty happy with it when he ran away, especially giving it to the coach. Great play, well done.
That'll get me a game next week. Let's go to Lockie.
Yeah, the Prince Alfred bench have been trying to get Ollie Clark to go forward for a little bit of time now, so they've finally made that change. And you mentioned it before, the perfect word to describe St. Peter's bench at the minute is shell-shocked.
Yeah, that's the one that hurts. That's the 10th goal. I'm pretty sure that's the 10th goal.
Yes.
Which puts the margin over 40.
And they get yet another
And
centre
they may not be
clearance.
done yet. Another centre clearance. And
That'll
what
be
do we got?
downfield,
FAD.
I think. First little bit of feeling for the game. If I'm St. Peter's, I'm not minding that, though. They need to create a little bit of feeling in this game. Put some pressure on.
Better to be up and fighting than in a coma. The pass looking for Pitt. He's virtually unstoppable. Couldn't take the mark on that occasion. They do elude Nick Wilston. Kick on the outside of the boot. Nice pick up. Rodos around the body. Trying to side up to Cesare. Princes with some pressure. They've got it now to reset. Neil, I like the way that they use him. On to Macaulay. Fake the kick and maybe should have gone with the first option.
Nice bit of pressure finally from
Hello.
St. Peter's.
The St. Peter's player, there was no one on the mark, so he just took off. Kicker right. Neil playing mop-up man at the moment. Very disappointed that Smith didn't honour the 1-2 there, I'd suggest. That's going to be a conversation at halftime.
Yes.
I wanted to see the handball to the running ruckman.
Not sure the ruckman should be calling for that football. Smart play not to give it to him.
Okay. Well, Neil doing what he does best, getting the tap for others to get possession.
McNamara with another clearance.
Wow. Yeah, he's I wonder how many beanies he's picked up because he's been playing for as long as we've been doing this. We're in our 5th year. Beautiful kick into space. Ben McGill sizes up the goals. And in the end, it was the visionary kick to McGill, and he converted. A fumble, gave one away earlier. I guess that's his redemption.
Just got goal side there, McGill, didn't he, on the quick turnover. So a nice little steadier there for St. Peter's, who've been thoroughly outplayed this quarter. Amazingly, they kicked 4 goals themselves.
Yeah.
It's just been their defensive play and their defensive pressure and their defence around the stoppages that has really hurt them.
Well,
playing like a bit of a college game, it's very much end-to-end. A lot of Div 1 games with Caulfield. Look at last week's game. A lot of pressure, low scoring. This game is far from that. Probably why the two teams sit 7th and 9th, maybe, Phil.
Well, Princes have kicked 6 goals, 7. So
Wow.
could have done some more damage. That's in this quarter. And St. Peter's, you look, they've kicked 4 goals too. In modern day footy, that's a good quarter. And they may not be done yet. Ed Colley's kick, lead of Colley. Couldn't clunk it. Comes straight back to Nick McGill. Nick finds Ben. They just have this radar that they know where each other is. Unfortunately, once Nick kicked it to Ben, Ben can't kick it back to Nick, and it's been intercepted. I reckon this is where Princes might just slow it down and say, we've got the 36 point.
It's not always
the 6-goal lead.
It's not always a great short passer, Sumner, so he's better off just taking some territory here, which he's done.
And that is your halftime siren. A great quarter, as mentioned. If you love high scoring, we had a 10-goal quarter. And at halftime on the Hans Portal scoreboard, Prince Alfred 10-8-68 have a 36-point lead over St. Peter's Old Collegians 5-2-32. We will take that break. I'm going to check out the grilled chicken roll, and we'll be back with stats, scores, and analysis, and a food review after that. You're watching the Adelaide Footy League thanks to Filming Footy.
We've been housemates for what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HEC stat doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
Do you belong in a role that drives you? In a community that makes you proud? In a team that brings out your best? You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Welcome back from Park 9. You can see the halftime scores around Division 1 in the Adelaide Footy League. We got the high scoring affair, 15 goals. Although Golden Grove Payneham Unions had 14. We've also, I think, got the biggest margin. We have 36 points. So you with Phil Hurd and Adam Jeffries. And any thoughts on those results? Pretty much as expected.
A lot of those games, Sacred Heart with the defensive clamps on again, probably the major one out at Teatree Gully, isn't it? Doing it on the road. Teatree Gully just struggling to score a little bit again today and have struggled to score against Sacred Heart this year. But scoring hasn't been a problem here. A little bit of Sacred Heart defensive pressure wouldn't have gone astray in the first half there, Phil. This is, I called a game last year, Prince Alfred St. Peter's, and it ended up just being a shootout, and it's proving that again. It's not a typical Division 1 game. It's a game of keepings off and a game of scoring, and first to 100 will win. Well, I think Prince Alfred are going to get to 100 first. I
think they are definitely front runners to do that. Although games can flip. Oh, there's Lockie.
He's already been told to shush off by the St. Peter's coach.
I always think that one of the key qualities of being a good banjo rider is intrepidness. You don't get more intrepid than that. No. I reckon. Team's about to unleash and you're right in the middle. I might have to have a quiet word to the lad and say maybe not quite that close at that time, because this is secret team business, and he's just
He may or may not have got really close to the St. Peter's coaching staff, who are not having their best day in the coach's box.
No, I was about to say, if you're winning by a margin, you might allow it, but if you're getting thumped, it's a whole different. It's a bit like interviewing the losing coach, which you notice losing players after. Yes, every post game is always about the winners.
I think you get more out of the losing team sometimes, because the winning team will just roll out the cliches and we stuck to our structures.
Well, he's emerged safe from the huddle. So, Lockie, tell us, what'd you find out?
Just, as you said, the cliches, got to win the first 5 minutes was a massive message. Got to win the quarter, got to win the half. They're pretty keen to put these guys away. I can't repeat exactly what they said, but they don't like each other. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. Past memories. That's the beauty of these games. And of course, there is the story that goes back. I think it was, I'm trying to remember who joined first. I think Prince Alfred joined first. And when St. Peter's joined the Adelaide Footy League, I think in 1928, Prince Alfred wanted a relegation to Div 2 so that they could beat up and thump the whatevers out of their rivals. I've got to research that a bit more and actually find out if
that's a true story or not. Can't see any real structural changes here. Let's see what happens, though. It's not about the magnets, it's about pressure. If you're St. Peter's,
it is man on man, at least in St. Peter's forward 50. Schmidt has disappeared for the moment. Off some hands. Saints with the first centre clearance. Well, that's a change compared with previous. Collie was going down when tackled, and that's the one that will always cause frustration.
Very good for St. Peter's
set of fans
to get that centre bounce 12-4 in favour of Prince Alfred.
Quick hand pass to Nick McGill, who unloads long and misses. So first score. Every long journey begins with a small step, and that's the first score for Saints. They go from 5-2-32 to 5-3-33. So we've had 8 goals kicked to the left of screen and 7 goals kicked to the right of screen. So I think Breeze is pretty much a non-factor. As it's hovering around Saints 50, they'd love to get a goal whilst they've got it down here. They won't, because it's holding the ball. Somewhere there's a blue jumper under all that red. And it will be the coach. Pity.
Like 2 red jumpers were on the ground last to get up, so one of those unlucky ones. Modern holding the ball calls.
Yeah, so on to Sumner, so 2 of the veterans combining. That hand pass intercepted by David Grant. This is Michaels, who's got 3 goals, gets the hand pass, rubber kick inside 50. Collie back on to Sam Higgins. lobs it 20 metres out, exactly where Luke McCauley was waiting for it. Not totally sure that went 15. Umpire wasn't disagreeing. This is one of your best players on ground, Adam. Lockie McNamara.
Oh, McNamara was elite at the stoppages with very little pressure put on him. Very impressed with the veteran players today for PAC for mine have played really, really well. Pitt, McNamara have played really, really good games and too much to handle so far.
And of course, those of you who follow between the posts, TJ, he's still about. TJ had a half team of the year, and Lockie McNamara made that. Johnny Reid as well from St. Peter's. So, of course, just whetting the appetite for what will be a very important team of the year that will come out later.
I thought maybe they would have pulled the trigger and put Reid forward because he hasn't really been able to intercept or do anything down back so far. Oh, wow. Michaels has taken a one-hander. I'm calling him Cameron Zurhaar. Don't you think? He just struts around. He plays like Zurhaar. He's got that magic inside 50 where he's a hybrid matchup. You put a tall on him, he's too good at ground level. You put a smaller play on him, he'll outmark you. And that was really well done.
Yeah, not much that NLA could do about that. So he's shown the ability. You're right. He's not just a jack of all trades, proving to be a master of them as well. Celebrates before it crosses the goal line. It was that straight. He has 4. And a good start to St. Peter's. They needed it on the Hans Bodel scoreboard. They go to 6 goals, 3. That's 39. Prince Alfred 10-5, 65.
Yeah, good start for St. Peter's. A little bit of pressure. The only 3 inside 50s have gone their way. So it's still a long way for them to come back. But it's only 29 points, Phil, and we've seen, if they can have a 4 or 5 goal to 1 quarter, they're going to be right back in this. But still very early days. They need to put together 30 minutes of pressure football, not just 3. So let's see what happens at the centre bounce here. McNamara and Pitt are the players that have been able to exit. Let's see what happens if they can get goal side and put some pressure on those guys.
Well, the margin back under 30, just 29 points, and they've got the next centre clearance, so they're doing well in the third quarter here. Collie almost runs a full 360. Princes concede ground to maintain possession. Pitt with the clearing kick. Thumped out of bounds will be a throw, and it's about as far forward as it's been for Princes in this third quarter.
Yeah, all St. Peter's early. Got the 2 centre clearances to zip, 4 inside 50s to zip. So a great start for them. They need to do it again. They need to keep going. Win this clearance. Put Prince Alfred under some more pressure.
Yep. Good start. A little bit like their season. They've given their opponents a head start. They started the season 5 in zip, including, as that looks like it's legged and collected, McNamara.
Might have just been a whack to the shin there, which isn't fun, but it's something that you can recover from.
So the Saints' losses to start the season was 27 to Golden Grove, which looks like a lot, but we were there.
No,
and it was,
they had more inside 50s than scoring shots that
right.
day.
Sacred Heart 17 and 11. So their losses were by close margins. Let's go to Lockie Gould on the boundary.
Yeah, Ethan Bald has sprained his ankle. He's limping around. You might have noticed it. The coach just asked the medical team how they think he is, and they said, yeah, it's swollen real bad.
Okay, so that might be the end of Ethan's day. Usually something like that, where you're going to put some ice on it pretty quick, and very hard to do that and play a football game at the same time. Oh, he's found the fountain of youth today. This occasion didn't quite come off, but I love the audacity of the attempt. Michael's hand pass for Collie. He's had to weave well through a couple of players. Kick inside 50, though. Only as far as Luke McCauley. He'll reset. There's 3 Redmen on the far flank, and they're off.
McCauley's been good, hasn't he? He's a lot of intercept marks and great switch kicks.
That's Slade, who from this far away looks a little bit like McNamara, and with the 18 and 16, I'm going to check that jersey before calling.
I thought McNamara wore 18 last year as well, so
yes, that's
just deceiving.
Somewhere in the back of my memory bank. There's Sumner. He's always worn 32 for mine. Thumped out of bounds. Throw in.
Good start here for St. Peter's. Even just that play, they force them to kick it up the line. They spoil it out of bounds, whereas in the first half they were able to just kick, mark, wherever they please. So good 5 or 6 minutes here for St. Peter's.
The throw in, missed the target a little bit. Trenorden was the first one there, but Saints with the clearance. They're pretty much in the T-saucer with Ben McGill. Needs a runner. Finds one in, needs an open player. Finds one in Hamish Allen. Haven't gained much here. I reckon they've gained about 3 metres sideways. In the end, here's the turnover. Can Princes make them pay? Ben McGill took care of Perks, but Perks has got back up and lays a tackle. I might just get the free. Yes, you will. Had a couple of impressive moments, young Perks. Way kick into the pocket, but that's where the player is, and that's the mark taken. I think that was Davis. Great bit. Just stretched out and it sits. It's all falling for him, as it is for Princes. He's got a chance. What's that? Their first inside 50?
First inside 50, and Pitt's looking at his 4th goal, Phil, and he's playing on ball and drifting forward. So he's not playing as a stationary forward. He's using his smarts and just finding little pockets of space on those slow entries. So we haven't seen a lot of, Brazil, Davis at the top of the square today, have we? We've seen just those unpressured, just little kicks inside 50 where Pitt in particular has feasted on them.
So I got Pitty for 2 goals. He had a third lined up, the easiest one.
He got the third from the walk-in from Perk's tap as well.
Of course.
So
who have I given that to? Because you're right, that is a third goal. Yeah, the one from outside 50, one from the boundary, one from the assist, and one from the one-armed mark. So that is 4. Just have to find who I gave his goal to. His third goal to. Prince Alfred, nice response, and pretty much back to where they were at half-time.
Yeah, look, just disappointing. Sometimes footy's a funny game, isn't it? You dominate for 7 or 8 minutes. You've got to actually put 3 or 4 goals on the board in that time. St. Peter's dominated that first 7 or 8 minutes, but only able to score 1 goal, so weren't really able to put pressure on the opposition.
Thanks to Police Credit Union. Let's go Bantry side to Lachlan Gould.
Yeah, they've left Ethan Bald out there. Just they're going to play him deep, though.
Yeah, once you've iced up, you're done. So you may as well just keep going, and typically those injuries won't get any worse.
Okay.
So they'll keep him out there and see how he goes.
Stand humbly corrected then. Has Riley Davis run into a double blue tackling barrage? Lockwood and Neil really should go to dancing classes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of wrestling
They've
today.
locked up a lot today.
Almost a Greco-Roman wrestling matchup
between
those two.
Get to watch a bit of that in Paris.
He's a strong boy,
6 weeks.
Neil in particular. He doesn't really have the height, but he competes with a lot of the ruckmen around the competition with his strength.
Here they'll go again. This time it's sort of side-by-side battle. Socket off the ground by St. Peter's. And luck's a fortune for Princes because Siebel's playing in front, got the mark.
See, bar Michaels, they're tall forwards. No one else has really impacted at all inside 50 for St. Peter's today, have they? We've seen Siebels, we've seen Macaulay take a lot of intercept marks.
I mean, where is Reid?
He's still at centre-half back.
Okay.
It must be something that the coach is tossing up. If he can't lock down or intercept, can they use him in a different role?
Yeah, well, Prince is trying to work it out. They've combined 3 nicely there. It was Ianello to Davis to Smith to Macaulay. And now they've kicked it a long way down the ring. Perks has created some separation. He's marked 55 out. Garrels is yelling through it. He's about to get it right on the 50-metre arc. I think that's too far out the score. Umpire said play on. Here's Pitt again. From outside 50, we know he can kick him. This one grabbed and kicked across the face of goal. Missed from about 4 metres out. Off hands will be a throw-in.
Again, the pressure's just dropped off again from St. Peter's. Hasn't had a good little patch, but they just haven't been able to sustain keeping Prince Alfred under pressure. They were able to just move the ball from end to end with very little pressure again.
Lockwood the tap. Spills to the front. I think that was Ted Newman with the high kick. No rain to be had today, hopefully. Neil the pickup. Intercepted by Ben McGill. Michaels leading his opponent. And Charlick to the ball. Charlick, though, did well. He won that battle by creating the stoppage.
Great play by young Charlick there. Michaels would have been licking his lips one-on-one, the whole field ahead of him. But Charlick just stayed goal side and put body contact on him. And that's all you need to do as a defender sometimes. So well done.
Boundary is your friend. And use that benefit on that occasion. But it's inside 50 for Saints. Trying to get within range for a big comeback. Princes have led all day. Scored the first 3 goals. Macaulay trying to grab it. Can't do so. Inello has a crack. Here goes down. I reckon, is that Pitt again? Is he just, you mentioned he's just a roaming midfielder going up forward, isn't he?
Yes. Not playing as a stationary forward, but just being able to do what he wants to do and using his savvy.
My question is, playing coach, I get it. Playing coach in the midfield? I always think you're too into the forest to see the trees.
Well, he's been, when they had their really good teams, he played as a bit of a half forward. So he could just watch the game unfold, come off the ground a little bit. But he's with the troops down, he's played a bit on ball. And why not with the form he's shown today?
I should add, of course, he's not the solo coach. They've had this down pat for a while. There are other people observing, and he can get in the thick of it if he wants. Neil behind there. Head tap. Ollie Clark playing a bit of D. Through Schmidt to Pitt. His kick is smothered by De Cesare. And we'll go up.
Played a slam tackle there. Not a lot in that. The umpire saying his head hit the ground on the tackle there. He's not a malicious player at all, Pitt, we know that. So he's a little bit bemused by the decision.
Well, the Cesare would know that Pitt had kicked one from this spot. Came up from Mitcham through Kenilworth, a bit of time at the West Adelaide reserves. Since 2021 has been part of the Saints senior squad. And yeah, it is starting to get a tad chilly. Cesare comes in. It's going to be pretty close, and it's one of those on the line. Rushed behind. The build-up and the disappointment.
It's far too easy there for the defenders. But the only good thing that St. Peter's have done is they've stopped the flood of goals. 1 goal each this quarter. They needed to turn it into somewhat of an arm wrestle, and they've been able to do it.
I mean, look, they've won the quarter at the moment, 36 points to 34. That result still very much in dispute, though. As Searles has spotted up. Pitt, how many touches is he raking up?
For mine, he's probably the best player on the ground, isn't he? He's 4 goals, lots of disposals.
Lucky could interview him and get a coach's comment while we're at it. Let's go to Lockie.
Yeah, guys, I've got some info for you. So, John Vordos, number 28 for St. Peter's. He's actually under the weather at the minute, so he has to keep coming to the bench for rest.
Yeah, we haven't called him a lot today, have we? And he's a prime mover, usually, for St. Peter's.
Yeah, who are going forward, and they found one of their other prime movers in Ben McGill.
It's a challenge that a lot of clubs face, Phil, now that we're past the COVID era, and this time of year players get colds and flus. What do? Do you play or do you not?
Yeah. And
a player like Vrodos, you need him on the field, but if they genuinely under the weather, maybe sometimes you've got to pick a fresh man because, we haven't called him a lot, and he's normally a guy that stands out and gets so many disposals around the ground.
Yeah, well, it knocked me out for a week. We made the call.
You wouldn't have been able to play, Phil.
Well, it was funny you say that, but there's the kick again on the line. Very frustrating. I think I got the COVID on the Sunday, and we made the call on the Sunday afternoon.
Called it early.
Couldn't get rid of me fast enough.
Called it early. Knew it was going to be cold.
But that was fine. Everyone then knew, and sure enough, Saturday morning, did the test, was negative.
And that's the other thing that happens. A lot of clubs will wait till Saturday and see how players are feeling, but then it can mean late changes through the grades, and you can see St. Peter's don't have the depth coming through the C's and B's to make those late changes.
Not in the C's, based on today's result. If you haven't heard, it was Prince Alfred by 222 points, and that included so it was a 222-point shutout.
And again, Pitt's able to take the contested mark on the outlet. He's winding back the clock was a good call today, Phil. He's been on fire, the coach.
I'm just watching him running around. He's going to possibly take one. No, it's not his opponent he's got to worry about. It's his teammate. I'm just wondering, has he got an opponent?
I think he was looking for him then, but he was looking for the front and square, and the turnovers eventuated.
Well, Saints are getting enough inside 50s this quarter, Adam, but they're not.
10-3, Phil. Really dominate, but 1 goal each still, so they haven't been able to capitalise. They don't have a tall forward, bar Michaels, who's dangerous. Not one other player has been dangerous inside 50.
I can see a tall forward, and he's running around the defensive 50
I'm sure they're thinking about it. With the 10 entries this quarter, no contest there. And you look at a guy like Siebels, who's not tall, able to take intercept marks. They need to be able to create a contest in that area of the ground.
Benny McGill got the hand putt. So away it comes inside 50, number 11. Sumner just got it away from De Cesare in the path of Ianello. Good kick downfield by that boundary line. Ollie Clark. Oh, I love the pickup and the dash. You mentioned the veterans. There's a couple of them, Ollie Clark and Pitt. And they've done this without Jolly, who would have been one of their key players. Garell's taken a mark. He's had a decent game. And I reckon this is bold. I'll check. I'll stand by for the number. First time I've seen him. Just the boots.
I think St. Peter's are lucky Hayden Jolly's not playing today, because he would have been in line to raise the bat for a half century of disposals today, the way this game's been played.
Oh, this is bold. I'm interested to know what ankle. It's a pretty decent chance, because he's got a 3 on the back, and he sure ain't Jordan Neal. And that one, how many's that's 3 in succession. 2 down this end, 1 down that end.
The old spoilt on the goal line.
Spoilt on the goal line. So we're going at glacier pace at the moment on the Hans Sportal scoreboard. Prince's 11-9, St. Peter's a 6-5, a 33-point margin, which was 19 at the first break and 36 at the main break. Spock trying to get a win to get out of relegation. Prince's, well, they're in that no man's land where they're not in the 5 and they're not in relegation, and this result will go some way to what they're concentrating on.
It might be 3rd after this match. That's how congested the ladder is.
Port District were leading, so I suggest and Brighton were trailing. If they hold what's a 2-game gap between 3rd and last, would expand to 3. But again, looking at those half-time results. Oh, okay. Port District and Broadview are tied at the moment, so thanks for the update, Hugo.
Don't switch to that stream. Stay with
us,
everyone.
No, don't watch that one. Watch this one. Stay with the 18, please.
Because we've still got a game on here. I know that they have slowed the scoring down. They just haven't been able to kick those 2 or 3 goals in succession. Yeah. And with the margin where it is, if Prince Alfred take a few opportunities, it will be tough.
I'll tell you what. If he
your 40-40 rule, Phil.
Yeah, if he kick, actually we're not far away from, because 40 is 20 minutes of the 3rd quarter, last 10. If he kicks this and it lands on the goal line, I'll switch streams.
You can see that smart play by Clark. At least it's forced the contest. It's forced St. Peter's to defend.
Yeah.
Got the free kick on that occasion, but if you do that 10 times, you will score a few times.
It's all about play the percentages. You kick it a metre from goal, you're going to get your teammate taking a mark 1 out of 20. You put it 10 metres out, they're going to get a goal. Yeah, some interesting scores around as we have. Look, here's Spock have finally got a shot, and they've sprayed it.
And you will notice that Johnny Reid is now at full forward there, Phil.
Okay. And the first time
Which is
it's
a good
down
move
there and it
by the
comes
coach.
down, Alex Leacrap, unfortunately, with the miss. First time it comes down, they ignore him. So who's got the job on him, I wonder?
Sumner was manning him up there, which is a tough one. Again, an easy exit for Prince Alfred on this occasion.
So here's Schmidt. I think he's been manned up on for this 3rd quarter. He certainly was pretty good loose in the first. Out to Charlick. Some new names in terms of being regular. Will Schmidt played for Gawler Central last year. Ian Allo, the Unley Jets. Henry Slade, Oraroo, Wade Chart, Port McDonald, and Jack Trenorden. The Roosters from, is it Butte or Boot? Butte, isn't it? Butte. Yeah. Kick into space. Haven't seen a lot of play in my little dead mill, old line pocket, but
still been a lot of play on the far side of the ground today. Just got the touch in there.
One thing about Trenorden, he loves the Roosters. He's played for Butte. They're the Roosters.
Bordertown boy as well.
Bordertown boy. They're the Roosters. some sandfall in the under 16s and under 18s with North Adelaide. I was racking my brain. I don't believe in the entirety of the Adelaide Football League there is actually a Roosters team.
No, he would have gone for them potentially.
That's it. So he ended up with the closest to red and white he could get. Meanwhile, I had a chance to tell all of that story, and not much else has happened. Princes have just been kicking it around pretty much to themselves like a training drill. Charlick's dropped it. This could make it interesting. Got a helper, though, in Sumner, who drew the defence, kicked it. A chance for the cavalry to come back. Now we've got the kick inside 50 for Michael, who took the mark. We went to ground. So that was a Siebels who went to ground. Looking in the direction of De Cesare, who's got it a little bit of space to the top of the square. And in the end, a great contest between two Princes players. Let's go, Bandry side, Lachlan Gould.
Yeah, well, they may be winning at the minute, but Prince Alfred, they're in the wars. Archie Perkins' back keeps seizing up, and Jordan Neal has a massive problem with his ankle.
We haven't seen much of Neal,
so
have we?
Archie Perks and Geordie Neal. I reckon. No disrespect to Archie, I've been impressed with some of his touches, but Geordie's been a mover and shaker today.
Trenorden will have to finish the game in the ruck if Neal cannot come back on the ground. It's a much injured player, Geordie Neal, actually. Ran into the wars in the finals last year for a home accident with him as well.
Beautiful chain of hand passes back to Slade. He kicks forward to a relatively open forward line. I think that was beautifully done by Newman to get a mid-up and stop, but in the end, Wilston is tackled, and it will be. Look, I haven't forgotten you. Just need to keep it on the play for a moment. Tyson Brazel winds up from 60. Has he gone the full boot? Of course he has, because it's been touched on the line. Just when I was about to say it's the one occasion. I can't believe he missed that. I can't believe I just saw that kick. He didn't know that he had no one behind him, did he? That he could have just turned and... I'm not sure if you guys can get that up on the replay.
It's not easy to kick the ball over your head, but a quick little snap there. But no pressure from St. Peter's on the line there. Three pre-AC players. Turned
180 and dobbed it at the bottom of his boot. Lockie, I still haven't forgotten. You're just waiting for the next stoppage. They need this ball to go out of bounds, although it doesn't seem to want to. All right, we got a stoppage. Let's go. We have a just missed it. Never mind. Let's go to Lachlan Gould. Lockie.
Yeah, just on Neil there. Haven't ruled him out officially at this stage. He was doing his warm-up before. He was in a lot of discomfort, though, boys.
Alrighty. Well, that could be
We've
something.
got here a 25-metre penalty paid or a downfield free, which will allow them to kick it deep inside 50 here. Macaulay with the football, who I've been impressed with today, Phil. I think Macaulay off half-back's been a really good player.
Yep. Look, it's been the Saints' defence. I mean, they play well at both ends, haven't they? I mean, they're on track. Although it has slowed up in this quarter, they've only kicked the 1-goal. It's really probably been, yeah, you're right, Prince Alfred defence. I'm not sure what your inside 50 count is. Princes are getting a couple back now.
13-7 in Spock's favour, but haven't been able to capitalise.
As the siren goes with the kick, it again has missed. So lots of shooting at goal. Not much in the major department. St. Peter's kicked 1 goal 4, although those inside 50s, Prince Alfred, well, they kicked 1 goal 1. It is the Red Men by 33 points at the last break. You're with Adam Jeffries, Lockie Gould, Phil Hurden. We'll come back with stats, huddles, scores around the grounds. You're watching the Adelaide Footy League. Thanks to Filming Footy.
belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
St. Peter's huddle. And there's Lockie.
We might get an email from St. Peter's during the week,
I
think.
say, there might be one coming. But that's okay. He's pushing the
I
envelope.
don't mind that, yep.
See where the envelope is. So any closer, you'd need player insurance because they might just drag him on.
Not sure if the St. Peter's coach will go on the
Lockie
podcast this week.
But it is three-quarter time here. You can see the score there. What was a 19-point lead at quarter time became 36 at the half. Spock had most of the ball, but only reduced the margin by the 3 points. Some scores around the grounds. Port District and Broadview. It is Port District. Could they get their first home win? They lead Broadview by 6 points, 55-49. Glenunga well on the way to a 10-0 start, leading Brighton Bombers by 28. Golden Grove and Payneham Norwood Union has been tight all day. It's Payneham Norwood Union by 4 points, and Tea Tree Gully and Sacred Heart looks all over. Sacred Heart leading that one by 55. So the Glenunga Sacred Heart juggernaut shows no sign of letting up this round.
Yeah, that's a big result actually. Sacred Heart away, really putting the clamps on. Well done to them. But back to this game, it's been somewhat of a disappointing game. We've got to pump it up, and they're still within striking distance. We saw a domination in the first half from Prince Alfred. Then we saw a little bit of an arm wrestle and a stalemate in the third quarter, little bit of keepings off. But St. Peter's, for mine, disappointing, 13 inside 50s just for that one goal, which was the Nick Michaels one-handed mark. So they really need to find another forward option to capitalise. If they had have kicked another 2 goals in that quarter, Phil, we'd almost have game on, wouldn't we? So let's see what happens in this last quarter. Prince Alfred are banged up. If St. Peter's, they wouldn't have many left on the bench, I don't think, Prince's. So if they can, we see Neil is not going to start in the ruck. So, yeah, they're a little bit banged up. So if St. Peter's can just kick a couple in a row, anything can happen.
Well, how banged up are Princes? Let's go to the man who's on the spot, Lachlan Gould, with a report from the huddles.
Yeah, so got to both huddles. Prince, they said they got lazy, and they asked the question, how do we want to be remembered after this last quarter? It was a lot from St. Peter's, to be honest. They took control. They felt like they didn't capitalise. If there's any spare, they're going to be looking to make sure they even up the contest as well.
All right, thanks for that, Lachlan. Appreciate all the insights from both huddles. And pretty much what the coaches said matches what we've been witnessing and describing to you today on Filming Footy. The shadows are starting to creep across this ground from the tall gum trees as we head past 4 o'clock local time. Looks like we could be in for a slightly early finish today, Adam.
We get underway pretty well each time, don't we? That's all right. I've got a ball tonight, so that we don't want to be here all night.
That's right.
We go home and powder
You got to
my
go
nose.
and get the makeup done and everything else? No Cinderellas?
No, just my beautiful wife.
Just your beautiful wife, okay. So we're with Charlie Allen, who has it and goes to... I mean, if there's a pocket of the day, that's been the one, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It's been a lot of play.
that guy on the deck chair over there, he's seen a lot of football, hasn't he?
Should have just sort of in the direction of where my car is parked. Just walk another kilometre and you'll get there. Should have just stayed there and called the footy from there as Redmond go forward through the hands of Brazel. Here's a chance. Quicker recovery made by Chant. Back to Brazel, trying to find some space. Here's the run and the shot and the goal to Lockie McNamara.
Yeah, he's been a great player today, McNamara. Craig Pitt for mine has been the best player on the ground, but McNamara is not too far behind. Good handball there by Tyson Brazel, who amazingly with the scoreboard hasn't hit the goal sheet yet, the full forward, leading goal kicker from last year. So he'll be looking to fill his boots in the last quarter if he gets an opportunity today. St. Peter's have been out of lockdown on him, but he hasn't had a lot of one-on-one marking contests. It's been the inability, the lack of pressure, and it's midfielders coming down and scoring, Phil, and that's been the real problem. They've locked down on the forwards, but it's been Clark, Pitt, McNamara have been able to score easy goals playing in midfield.
So the 12th goal, I guess one of the questions still to be asked, I mean, the result, we're not quite at the 40-40 rule, we're at 39, but this game is as good as one, can Prince Alfred crack the ton, and can this help their percentage a little bit if they can put a big win, because they did have the worst percentage in the comp. Interception made, Spocker trying to get a forward entry going here. Good stop and prop by James Higgins, the 50-gamer. But Princes have some numbers and a good kick finding Ollie Clark. He'll quickly move it downfield and Garrels is marked. True centre wing position. One of the club in the crowd that looks pretty healthy here at Park 9 today. Long kick Brazel, the one-on-one that he loves.
Hasn't had many of them, has he, Phil? And got the arms out in front there as well. Didn't allow the spoil to come down, which is great to see because he does have a really good pair of hands.
No one's on the mark.
He's had just the one shot on goal, which he shanked in the second quarter. So see if he can get on the goal sheet now after a great contested mark.
Similar position. He's had the sighter. This to get in the paper tomorrow. Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
Kick a goal, get in the paper?
Yeah. I used to worry about that when I played.
And he's in there. He becomes Prince Alfred's 8th individual goal scorer today. Their 13th for the match in terms of goals. And that 100 points is looking pretty good on track with the opening 2 goals of this final quarter.
Your call earlier, Phil, about the percentage is, you never think about that as a coach, as a player on game day. You just play the game and you hope that you can get on top. And if you do get an opportunity to put your foot on the throat of an opposition, you do it. But they are going to need, to hold a 50, 60 point win here will certainly help that creep that percentage back up closer to 50 where it needs to be.
Yeah, whether it be for a final spot or to stay clear of relegation, you get the feeling that the tightness, the logjam, that percentage is going to play a part somewhere this year.
Yeah, well, I think 9th is going to be a percentage battle. I think if Brighton are a bit stiff and they're in the 10th seed at the moment, they've got the draw, so the percentage is irrelevant. So the rest of the teams, you need to keep your percentage up. So Prince Alfred need to keep their foot on the throat, and they've started this quarter really well, Phil.
As expected, final quarter, we're getting tired. The game's opening up. Good dash by Searles. Passed it on. Here comes the kick looking for Clark. Ends up with Davis is lurking off. Here's McNamara through 1, through 2, hand pass to Chant, and Brazel has 2 in 2 minutes. Ain't that the life of a forward?
Again, it's McNamara's speed, isn't it? That's just caused a lot of headaches today for St. Peter's.
Almost overran it. And a stop. Whoop.
I think he wanted to have a little sneaky check side snap, but the overlap happened, and always good when you're the full forward. When you've had a dirty day, but he's kicked 2 early ones, so he can still kick 3 or 4 for the day.
And well done to Wade Chant, who might have been thinking, this is my chance for a first goal, but did the team thing. Let's go to Lachlan Gould on the boundary, thanks to Police Credit Union.
Yeah, just again, Jordan, they're going to reassess that one as the quarter wears on and probably during the week as well.
I'd be wrapping up Geordie Neal for next week. He's an important player for Prince Alfred.
Margin at 49. This game has been run and won. It's only about the margin and the scoreline now. And if that's the case, you don't play your ruck. And they're getting the clearances. Here's Wade Chance. Wade Chance. Say that 10 times. Having done the team thing, he's now doing the forward thing.
Footy gods have looked after him. Phil took the good contested mark. They've struggled in the air today, St. Peter's, haven't they? They haven't been able to take any contested marks forward or behind the ball. Prince Alfred, if we had a contested mark count, which we'll get tomorrow from Dartfish, they'll be well on top.
For his first goal for the Red Men at A grade, we pump it up and we let it down.
Now, you never know when you're just commentating a game, do you, Phil? And I know that Lockie made mention of Vrodos being a bit under the weather. We don't know what's happened in the club and with the players. They look like a team that's had a little bit of cold and flu go through because they have been flat, haven't they? It hasn't been the game of the intensity, and St. Peter's haven't played like this over the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Like I said, pre-match, they were one of the informed teams. They just seem a little bit flat, started the game flat, potentially. No, as a coach, you never make an excuse, but they do look flat today.
And these are the two old scholars that play Intercol. Now, people wondering what am I talking about with Intercol. Each private school gets one special game, and they play them all on the same day against their arch rival Education. We've got Ross Trevor plays Sacred Heart, and Prince's plays St. Peter's. There's others, of course, but they're the two probably big ones. And I haven't seen a lot of them, but they were spirited games that the whole school would turn up, and they were big affairs. And I'm surprised actually by the lack of sort of spirit today.
Especially with so much to play for St. Peter's with the relegation battle. And that's what makes me think, is there just, been critical of their midfielders not running back, and the amount of easy goals that McNamara Pitt have been able to kick, that when you're a bit under the weather, just that gut run into defence doesn't happen. And it looks to me like that's how it's played out.
It's with Sam Higgins now. He'll kick into the old line pocket where there's a big pack of players.
It's another factor, Phil, as to why we do see some odd results sometimes this time of year. You never know. If 4 or 5 of your prime movers can't do those gut runs into defence, leak a couple of easy goals, some weird results can happen. So keep an eye on that in the, especially in Division 1 comp coming up.
Well, we'll certainly give you all the results at the end of this game, because there were a couple of close ones. Port District, Broadview, and Golden Grove, Payneham, Norwood Union. The other ones, Glenunga and Sacred Heart, look like they're going to win easily, stay top 2. But right now they're sort of playing it between the 50s, although St. Peter's think they got a chance here. They do now. Into that dead pocket, finding Ben McGill, who always seems to find some space. He will not kick a goal from here.
So is he smart enough to kick the ball to the top of the square? I think he is. McGill, he'll look for a short pass late, or he'll kick the ball to the top of the square. Hopefully he doesn't prove me wrong. There we go.
No. Faked it out well. Can tell you Broadview and Port District are tied. We're off to Broadview next week.
Looking forward to that.
The balcony have not been there since the redevelopment. I've heard good things. Broadview taking on the might of Glenunga. That'll be our game of the week, thanks to Filming Footy.
Big game for Broadview, that one. They need to win get a scalp at home.
Yeah, I mean, they're all big when they're sort of in the mid-table logjam. Here's your shot on goal. And dobbed it. Was that the Cesare?
Yes, it was.
It was. So he's got his first for today, third for the season. And a little consolation that won't mean much, because the margin is still over 40 points, 46 to be in fact.
Yeah, a little bit of junk time starting to play out in this game, and this is why we made the comment before. I wouldn't be risking Jordan Hill.
So you've decided your prize winners?
I think so, unless St. Peter's get on a little 8-goal run here. But we've had some nice highlights. We've had some great players.
There's nothing little about an 8-goal run.
No. We have seen St. Peter's come home with a wet sail, but can't see it. Like I said, it feels like they're a little bit under the weather. Can't see it happening at the moment.
Well, there was that game at Golden Grove that they took from a blowout to very close.
No, they're only one more goal away from making that game really interesting, weren't they?
Yeah.
As you see, free kick.
And then Golden Grove settled. There was a lot of goals in that final quarter. It felt like it went on forever. Pass in the lead of Michaels, but Prince is getting in the way. Schmidt, hand pass over his head in hope. A chance of a turnover. Charlie Allen's kick is smothered. McNamara this time can't escape. Not sure if that's actually a disposal, but umpire said okay by me. Darwood on to Nick McGill. Somehow remained elusive.
Great composure there from McGill.
Sammy Higgins. just the attacking side. It's more centre wing than forward for Spock. And they seem happy for this one to play itself out. 11 and a half minutes gone. You can see the Hackney Road traffic. I wonder if they're Port Adelaide fans heading home. Is that one over yet?
Yeah, not a good day for Port Adelaide fans today. I think
they never see that Guernsey ever again.
I always joke with my Port fans, Ken Hinckley's coaching when they lose and Josh Carr's coaching when they win. I should have asked Josh Carr to coach today. Feels a bit that way for Kenny, doesn't it?
It on a hiding to nothing, I think.
Yeah, when they win, it's the genius of Josh Carr.
That's correct. Let's go boundary side. Actually, Lockie, just hold on for a sec because Saints are going forward. And a golden rule, don't do a boundary cross when a team is a kick from goal. Although Schmidt, they're just sort of kicking it to each other at the moment, aren't they?
Ball wasn't left that part of the ground in about 5 minutes.
Okay, Lockie, go for it.
Yeah, Edward Allen had a little bit of a problem with his glutes, boys, so they've stretched that out now, and it's up to the coaching staff whether or not he comes back on, but he is medically cleared.
Okay, stretching the glutes. I'm glad we don't have James today giving us the vision of that.
This is the trick as well. This is why the Sting's gone out of the game. Both coaches won't want to risk injured or semi-injured players. Last thing you need is an injury late in a junk time game like this.
Well, there are more battles to fight and winnable games next week. Prince Alfred travel down Anzac Highway to Brighton Road and play the Brighton Bombers, one that they would be favoured to win. And if they win that, they start putting pressure on the 5 more than relegation. For St. Peter's, they host Golden Grove, and given the way they played back in round 2, we were there, they'd give themselves half a chance. But then they would have given themselves half a chance, and I would have tipped them today.
Unless you're going to Webb Oval or Sacred Heart Middle School, anyone's half a chance this year, aren't they, in any game?
Yep, or they're coming to you.
You're not winning at Webb. Unless Coach Grimer decides he just needs to go 17-1 instead of 18-0 and do some weird stuff.
Interesting philosophy, which I have a feeling we're going to talk about, or Tommy Javois is going to talk about with his Division 1 reports on Between the Posts. Make sure you check that out Monday night. The weekend wraps, of course, tomorrow. The women's wraps, they're heading towards the last few weeks of their season. Finals, I think in about 4 weeks there. As the men's, we're in the second half of the season now. You might notice we're not talking much about the play because there's not much play other than kick to kick. Here's a nice one in space for Searles. Put Wicks into a little bit of trouble. Desperation by Lillicrap to get it on to Michaels, and Michaels, just as he was about to bound away and look up at the goals, out of bounds. So a reminder of our prize. We've got the best on ground. That will be the not the Meermoth Mouthguard. It will be the Belgravia Apparel New Balance voucher, the Archie's footwear, and the iconic Dartfish beanie. Then the Neomoth Mouthguards. That's for the magic moment, and the Moseley Bar and Kitchen voucher for the best team man, which will be an interesting choice. Although I suspect one that Adam's been dwelling on for some time.
Yeah, no, there's some. Got a couple of defenders in line for PAC. Been very good because they have repelled a lot today, haven't they? Like I said, bar a bit of Nick Michaels' magic. At times, a couple of his goals have been spectacular. That Prince Alfred's defenders have won the day, haven't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, since half-time, Prince Alfred have kicked 4 goals. It's interesting. We've had 15 goals in the first half, and we've had 6 so far in the second, with maybe 10 minutes to go. We might have one here. Beautiful kick to the run of Juice Davis, and with Brazel asking for it, and an open goal beckoning, he sprayed it to the left.
You'd be disappointed there, Davis. He was quiet. He had a great start to the game, didn't he, Davis? I think he kicked the first of the match and hasn't really been able to get into the game a hell of a lot. It's been interesting for the key forwards for PAC. They haven't had a lot to do because the midfielders for PAC have just strolled into space and done all the work inside 50.
Ollie Clark and Pitt, 7 of the Prince's 14 goals between them. Wicks under the thump from Lockwood. The 2-13s holding the ball. Charlie Ayling will take it away from Josh Garrels. This is part of the game where the temperature drops by a couple of degrees as the Shadows make their way over. Ian Alla had it. He lost it. Henry tackled. Spock ball. Okay, where are we going with this one? Michaels, even though Reed's there somewhere, Michaels seems to be the leading forward. Couldn't take the mark, but he's there for the fumble. At 50, nicely ducks under the tackle. He looks goalward. He set sail and he has a fifer.
Again, an incredible solo effort, really, isn't it? So he's kicked 5. 3 of them have been spectacular efforts. You think of the one-handed mark. You think of the snap with 3 blokes on him in the first quarter. He's a real clever player, isn't he?
So he's forced the error, avoided the defender, and set sail from 45.
Reminds me of the Cyril Rioli goal against Essendon 14, 15 years ago, where he caused the error, dodged around, kicked the goal. Well done to him, though. That's in a bit of a dirty day for St. Peter's. 5 goals from your small forwards is a really good effort.
He probably won't be in the prizes because we do have a general rule that we only give them to people of the winning team. We get a better reaction that way.
When they trudge off, though, he can just be sneakily happy with his day's work.
But we do have the 3-2-1 votes for Player of the Year. And he might that goal may well have snuck him in because 5 goals is, well, it's a bit of a rarity these days. Especially when your team only kicks 8. I did say 5 of 7. I've obviously... Oh, yeah, the Cesare down the bottom. To Cesare has kicked 1 as well. 18 minutes gone to the final quarter. Thank you, Lockie. So, yeah, we might just...
Still time for a percentage booster for Prince Alfred.
Well, that's really what it is now, isn't it? I mean, 40 points is a good win on a close contest. Here's Brazil, who's set upon, got the hand passed out. That must have hurt. Anytime a full forward's got to give out the hand pass. He's done it a couple of times. He set up a couple, Brazil, today, as well as the 2 that he kicked in a 2-minute period. Now he's going to go ruck. This is where St. Peter's have been a bit poor, but Rodos has it now. Looking for Lockwood, misses the target. Kick forward again. I mean, we could see that. We could see Jaden Davis just waiting for the turnover, said, I'm here, and it came to him.
Looking for his mate.
So much time. Finds him, and Brazil's taken the mark. This will be an interesting kick. Distance not a problem, but you can see the boundary there. And almost, I reckon, a bit of sun to deal with as well.
Looking for his 3rd goal of the last quarter. I said he didn't have a bad day, Brazil, really. He wasn't beaten in one-on-one contests. He just wasn't in a lot. It was just strange how the matches unfolded. Normally he's the go-to man and he's in a lot of contests.
Well, the Stevie J around the body does not score. Tom Facey well positioned to take the mark and repel. Although to a 2-on-1 contest, which sets some work for Sam Higgins. Now it's 3-on-2. Comes to work rate, and the kick looking for Perks intercepted by David Grant. Grant puts it down the wing where there's a fair bit of red. Here's Trenorden, who loves playing in red and white. Spots up Henry Slade. Certainly has opened up a little bit. Haven't had a lot of stoppages in this final quarter, but still a fair few turnovers. 41 points the margin. Stick around for our end of game presentations. I think that was Davis with the pickup to Pitt, trying to put the hand pass back, and that's where it's all come unstuck. And will be a ball up. We'll also get you some final scores once they become final around the Adelaide Footy League. And I'll give you, not the exact letter because I'm not going to work out percentages, but I can give you an idea of where everybody at least is at with wins and losses. The stoppage, 40 to 45 metres out from Prince's goal. Can they kick the ton? They're 5 points away. Always looks good with a 3-figure in your total. Prince's highest score this year is 14-14-98. That was kicked against Golden Grove. Their biggest win was 28 points. So in the dying minutes, they got a chance for a few season highs. St. Peter's, their biggest loss is 48, something they would want to avoid, and the highest score they conceded this year is 112 by Teachery Gully, which was their biggest loss of 48 points. Spock going forward. Got a chance here, but the tackling is good, and Carruthers has got nowhere to go, and is that Pitt on the tackle? No, that was Charlick. My apologies. Umpire's found a free off the ball. Will go the way of Henry Slade. Looks like we've got our prize winners all sorted and delivered.
Yep. Look out for the Lockie podcast this week.
Well,
I just don't think the St. Peter's coach is going to appear on it.
Okay. Was he invited?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
He's been on the podcast. He just doesn't know it.
Right. Okay. I'll be filled in about this in the fifth quarter, I think. Meanwhile, this one is going through its final motions. Princes have it.
They'd love to kick a couple more, Prince Alfred, wouldn't they? Like I said, that percentage is 2 goals either way does make a difference. You win a game by 30 or you win a game by 50, it can affect the percentage at the end of the season.
Well, it's 41 points. It's been around this mid-30s, 40s mark for a while now. Spock have done a decent job keeping it away from this end, although that one's out of bounds.
Just moving into the coming weeks, Phil, Spock will have a decision. We've talked about Johnny Reid a bit, and they've looked really lacklustre in the front half, haven't they? Whether they just need to decide to look at him. He wasn't able to mark or intercept or help on the kick-outs today. He wasn't really used at all. So for mine, if he's not going to be able to do that, they just need something forward of the ball. So I'm sure he wrestles with that, the St. Peter's coach, every week. Where does he play Reid? They might have to look at another forward option for mine.
Yeah, the loss will take him to 3 and 7. That all but rules out finals because you'd have to win. Oh my goodness, you'd have to win 6 of your last 8 to even have half a chance.
With that ladder though, Phil, I reckon there'll be a team sneak into 5th spot on 8 wins maybe this year.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw Teacher Gully finish 5th last year on 8 wins as well.
We did indeed.
So 8 wins could get you in the finals and 7 wins could get you relegated. So that's how tight it's going to be.
It is indeed, which makes percentage important, which makes this kick important.
We saw Ross Trevor win 7 games in 2022 and get relegated, finish 9th. But this is what Division 1 throws up. There was the anomaly last year of the one poor team, but a lot of the Division 1 seasons do end up like this.
Max Henry has ball in hand. New player, one of 5 new players for Spock in this team. Made his way from the Imperials Club in Murray Bridge. Was a Walkerville junior. That one's halfway to Walkerville and a miss. The road ahead for these clubs. Prince Alfred go to Brighton, then host Broadview, travel to Port District and then host Glenunga. So one real toughie in there. The other 3, probably 50-50 games based on today.
That'll be a good game at Brighton next week. It's a game Brighton might fancy themselves at when they play home games against some of the teams just above them. They're the games that they can sometimes pinch, depending on their accuracy again, Phil. It's just an accuracy battle with Brighton. Even today at half-time, they're probably playing good footy, probably leading the inside 50s and kicked 3 goals 8 at half-time.
Well, yeah, they're playing Glenunga. I don't think they're going to get that one up. We're almost inside 50 for Princes. They've got some numbers. Oh, the ball spills free to Pitt.
For 5.
Just like that.
Ooh.
He misses.
Been a while since he kicked a bag of 5. He wouldn't have kicked many in his career. He's made his name as a...
We could have actually had 2 players kick 5 in the one game.
He's played a lot of footy at half-back, on ball in his Glenelg days, defensive midfielder.
I mean, he could have kicked 7 today. He's missed a few now.
There's one. He missed the easy set shot. A lot of the ball today for the coach, as I think Phil mentioned. Wound the clock back a little bit, hasn't he? He's sort of playing a mentoring role on the field as the coach, but he's actually been the most dominant player on the ground.
There's your siren. Well, it was, in the end, emphatic. An emphatic afternoon to Prince Alfred. They won the C's by 222, the B's by 90, and the A's by 41. That's a good day of footy.
Yeah, I think.
If you're on the winning side.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with the St. Peter's C grade there. They've been so strong through the C's, D's and even E grade, so lacking a little bit of depth, St. Peter's. But onto this game, the main game, that's a great win for PAC. We noted that they had the worst percentage, the worst defensive numbers in the competition field, but 5-5 with a young group, only 8 or 9 premiership players coming, playing today. They've done a great job to get to 5-5, and they've got winnable games to come.
Game certainly flipped after half time. I guess the coaches said, adjust here, even up. We had 10 goals, as the scores are correct, 14-12 to 8-8. We had 10 goals kicked in that second quarter after 5 in the first quarter. We only had 7 goals kicked after half time. 4 to Princes, 3 to St. Peter's.
Like I said, not making excuses, but I've got a feeling there's a little bit of cold flu going through that group at St. Peter's, Phil, because it was a genuinely lacklustre match, wasn't it? And the second half ended up just being a little bit of junk time with players. When you're a bit under the weather, you can't really gut run end to end. So, made it tough.
Indeed, it did. Lockie Gould is rounding up the prize winners as we speak. They'll all enjoy the hot showers at the end, as mentioned, for next week. Prince Alfred, are on the road. They go to Brighton. St. Peter's are at home. They host the Kookaburras at Caterer for the first time in some time, if ever. Not sure if those two have ever been in the same division before, because Saints have been in Div 1, Div 2 for considerable time.
And the Cookers haven't.
Cookers haven't. So that might be the first time they've played at Caterer. Meanwhile, Lockie's got his 3 prize winners. Is this saying, which prize have I got?
Well, they had look at Coach Pitt thinking about the Mosley voucher.
Yeah, might be a coaches meeting down the bay, I reckon. Of course, Pitty would know the bay pretty well from his time down there. As Lockie was seeing the highlights, thanks to Dartfish. Thanks to other sponsors, Hans Sporter with the scoreboard, Wakefield Sports Exercise Clinic, Farmers Leap Winery, Police Credit Union, Dartfish Footy Stats. Alrighty. We'll get some scores around the other grounds in a moment. There were some close games happening. I can tell you it's a shock by 10 goals over Tea Tree Gully at the moment, so Sacred Heart will get the win there. We're just getting positions. Let's go to Lachlan Gould.
Here we are, boundary side, with the 3 award winners. We're going to start off. Craig, you won yourself the $100 Belgravia, the New Balance voucher, the Archie's footwear, and the Dartfish beanie, mate. Fantastic display from you today. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, we probably we were pretty poor last week, and we really wanted to come out and, I guess, stamp our authority pretty early on the game. And we got beaten by Sacred Heart last week in the mid, so it was probably on us a bit to lift in the midfield. And I thought we did a really good job today of just grinding it out. Sometimes we weren't the cleanest team out there, and we turned the ball over a bit, but it was just a work rate thing for us today, and I think we got back to that, which was great.
Archie, you won yourself the Neomorph mouthguard for what was a fantastic tap down there. Do you just want to talk us through that moment?
Yeah, I was just running onto it, and then I saw the goals, and I was like, I could potentially dribble it, but then I saw Pitty in the back of, just behind me, so I was like, just tap it to him, and then he just ran in. Yeah, I don't know, just happened. Yeah. I don't know what I think.
And the Mosley Bar and Kitchen best man team, best man voucher. You must be incredibly happy with how this team's performing at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. As Craig said, we bounced back from an average loss last week, and we've got a young group, so everyone's stepping up and playing their role. So I'm very happy to be a part of this team.
Thank you, really appreciate it, boys. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Lockie. We've got one other final so far, and history in the making. Port Districts have won a home game, and they've defeated Broadview 71-62. So the top 3, regardless of the rest of the ladder, the top 3 will remain unchanged. Glenunga, who currently lead Brighton by 30 points, should remain unbeaten. Sacred Heart, who lead Tea Tree Gully by 60. The one that is possible for a miracle finish there at the 18-minute mark. So we're not going to stick around for that. And Payneham Norwood Union leading Golden Grove by 20 points. So we've got Adam and Lockie back. Back on commentary cam. So let's enjoy an early night for a change. Lockie, your thoughts on the encounter that we pumped it up big, and let's be honest, it sort of was a bit one-sided.
Yeah, it was a little bit. We were probably expecting a closer game than we got in the end, but full credit Prince Alfred, they were absolutely unbelievable. It looked like, and you could certainly tell from being boundary side, it just looked like St. Peter's weren't up for the fight, to be honest.
Adam, your prize winners, what was your logic behind those this evening?
Oh, for mine, well, Craig Pitt, you called it in the call, Phil, wound the clock back a bit. If he didn't have 30 and 4, I'll go he. Just showed his experience, and we thought the St. Peter's midfielders, just for whatever reason, were a bit lacklustre today, and he just was able to sneak forward, and I think he kicked 4 goals, 3. Would love to have kicked 6 or 7, so well done to him. I've loved Siebel's behind the football. I think he's been a really unsung player. He's a beautiful kick. He's a great team man. He wears his socks up. So you got to give credit for that. And we had to give the player of the day for the tap on to the coach, didn't we? That was an easy one. There was a couple of other good ones. Ollie Clark kicked a goal in the first quarter. Maybe he was a bit stiff, but we give the young fella Perks the award there for the great tap on, great team play.
Yeah, it's probably a historic moment in our coverage because we've given players of the day for great marks, great goals. Not sure we've given one for a tap before, but
just shows how great a
spot
tap
on. It was a moment.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
For sure. Alrighty, of course, all the Division 1 wrap, including and all the other grades for that matter, in the men's and the women's, the weekend wrap tomorrow afternoon. Tommy Javor will give you the Division 1 wrap on Between the Posts. That'll be out Monday evening. Just confirming with our great producer Hugo. Let's wrap this one up. Lockie, any final words?
No, just a massive congratulations to Prince Alfred, really. They were fantastic, and thank you to the boys that did the media as well.
Excellent. And Adam, final thoughts for today?
Final thoughts. Well done to Lockie on the boundary. Great day for him. Not such a great day for St. Peter's, though. Just, like I said, we might get some word through the week that there was some cold and flu going through their team because they were lacklustre. And you could see their mids didn't want to run back. It wasn't the key forwards for Prince Alfred. It was the midfielders who were able to run forward, kick easy goals, set the game up. Well done to Prince's 5-5 with a young team doing well.
Yeah, St. Peter's have taken a couple of steps forward in recent weeks. Today they took a step back, but there's still 9 games left. So thank you, Lockie. Thank you, Adam. Thanks to producer Hugo. Elias on camera doing a great job. And, of course, our boss, John Douglas. That's all about John. And all at the filming footy family. I'm Phil Hurden saying thanks for joining us at Park 9. We're in the C's. It was Prince Alfred by 222 points. In the B's, Prince Alfred by 90. And in the A's, Prince Alfred, the Triple Crown, winning by 41 points. We'll be back next week from Broadview when the Tigers host Kalanunga. Until then, this has been the Adelaide Footy League. Thanks to Filming Footy.